I would like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing thereafter for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for those who could be here this evening to have another meeting to govern this great city. We pray, Father, that every decision that we make is with good conscience. We pray, Father, that we are held accountable for all our decisions, and we pray that that everything done here will be good for us. And we thank you for all those who could be here to speak their mind and to represent their city. We thank you for prospering our city, Father, and we pray that Douglas keeps growing and our leadership continues to grow along with the city. We thank you in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Mayor Robert Uribe.
Present.
Councilmember Donald Hewish.
Here.
Councilmember Michael Morales. Present. Councilmember Mitch Lindemann.
Present.
Councilmember Ray Shelton.
Here.
Councilmember Cesar Soto.
Here.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva.
Present.
Interim City Manager Doreen Watson. City Attorney Juan Pablo Flores.
Present.
City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present. Item number 5, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1332, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a non-binding resolution for the two-floor solution at the Raul H. Castro Port of Entry in the City of Douglas, Arizona. And today this evening we're fortunate as blessed to be joined by Supervisor Ann English, and we would like for Mrs. English to be at the podium so she can talk a little bit about the resolution that the county passed unanimously yesterday.
When I attended the teleconference in GSA, it was my understanding that they wanted a commitment from the City of Douglas as to exactly where the port was going to be. The county also wanted a commitment from Douglas because we were prepared to spend a significant amount of money to do a study of the port area and all the things that could take place. I need to use my teacher voice. And so, Cochise County yesterday, since we had it before you did, it's kind of getting the cart before the horse, we went ahead and passed a resolution also supporting Douglas in making the decision of having the two-port solution, the second port being at the end of James Branch Road. This has been a long time coming, and several councils have looked at this before. And I can tell you in 2015, Cochise County had a piece of property that was 10 acres that was at the end of James Branch Road that came up for tax deed. And we said, Douglas is looking at that. They own some property across the road. And so you'll notice on the map that I gave you, there's a little 5-acre parcel there that was deeded to you at that time. And the reason being that our county engineer said, well, you get to the end of the road, then you need both sides of the road in order to create the port. That was back in 2015. So this has been a while we've been working on, but as government slows down and tries to contemplate to make sure that we're making the right decisions, I'm hoping that you will pass the resolution and make the decision so that we can start the process of finalizing and getting a contractor to do a study that will lead us all as to where the infrastructure needs to go so that business has a place to rest. course, I'd like for this to be in the city of Douglas, because you need to be in charge of your future. But it isn't right now, so the county is sort of taking the lead on trying to get that mapped out for you, so that when you decide that you want to annex it in the city of Douglas, you'll be in a better position to make decisions.
Thank you, Mrs. English. And to provide the background of the GSA presentation and conference call, with us we have Mr. Luis Ramirez.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, good evening. My name is Luis Ramirez, President of Ramirez Advisors, and I'm here as an advisor to the Douglas Regional Economic Development Corporation. We couldn't have planned this any better than to have the discussion start with Supervisor English, and then the county truly stepped in, under the leadership, of course, truly stepping up to help advance what we're calling the two-port solution, as we have been discussing for quite some time here with you and the city. I know you have the proposed resolution before you. I'm happy to read it into the record if that is required. If not, there's certain areas of it that I would like to highlight. But as we get started, I'd like to kind of set the framework for the discussion for a few seconds. This resolution will serve as an integral part of our ongoing efforts to advance the two-port solution. It is designed to provide a long-term solution to what you have asked for, and the residents of Douglas, Agua and the entire region deserve. An expedited and user-friendly, efficient port of entry, which is not the situation today. I thought I'd start by providing some quick highlights on the Arizona-Mexico relationship. First of all, in 2018, Arizona's trade relationship with Mexico grew by 7.7% to a total of $16.7 billion. And Arizona's relationship with Canada grew by 2.4% to a total of $3.7 billion. That makes Arizona's combined relationship with our North American neighbors exceeding $20 billion and directly responsible for 230,000 jobs in Arizona alone. The continued growth in this relationship rests heavily on the ratification of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement. This is what is designed to be the, some people are calling NAFTA 2.0, but the growth and development of what NAFTA started for North America. The United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement is that next blueprint for how North America is going to continue to grow. And I would urge you at the appropriate time to have the city and other stakeholders that are present here today actually voice their support for the ratification of this trade agreement to our congressional delegation. More directly, for Douglas in 2018, our year had mixed outcomes for our community. While in the beginning of 2018 and in several instances in which I appeared before council and others here in Douglas, 2018 we had anticipated to be a record year for growth in our volumes of people, goods, and trucks crossing the border. And in fact, we were on track to do that through about 3/4 of 2018. If you recall, with the migration of Central American people that were looking to arrive into the U.S. and reported caravans that were flowing through Mexico, there was a hardening efforts by the Department of Homeland Security on the ports of entry, which started on or about October of last year. So literally, the last quarter of 2018 is where we started seeing the change and what we had anticipated to be a record year for Douglas, and unfortunately that was not the case. Not all news are bad. I want to assure you that up front. I'll give you that bit of a punchline, but let me put it into context. In 2018, Douglas was the gateway for 27,800 trucks, 1.7 million cars, 847,000 pedestrians, and a combined total people, cars, buses, bicycles, of over 3.9 million people crossing here at Douglas. But this was a drop in every category compared to 2017. But as I stressed before, the vast majority of that drop happened in the last 3 months of 2018. Just in that quarter, we saw a drop of 23.1% in pedestrians, 12.3% drop in cars, and 15.2% in the total volume of people. The primary reason why we can explain why the drop happened is that from my 29 years of working on cross-border experience and multiple discussions with multiple experts throughout North America, the number one reason that impacts people's decisions to cross the border is the time to get across. Border waiting. And because of the hardening of the border, enhanced enforcement activities, not reversals, but practice, exercises of how they would handle it if people were rushing the border, it led to enhanced enforcement activities, longer processing time for cars and people, and therefore, as people wait longer, they simply cross less often. But as we were discussing earlier, not all news are bad, and that's kind of one of the punchlines that I wanted to say. We were in earlier discussions at the Douglas Regional Economic Development Corporation Board. We were talking with interim city manager Dwayne Watson, in which we were discussing that although we saw a drop in the volume of cars and people, retail sales tax continues to be on a positive growth, and Ms. Watson is here, and she can correct me if I'm stating something that is inaccurate. So one of the things that we're seeing is if our sales tax continues to grow and our trade volumes also continue to grow, where I said that our trade relationship with Mexico grew by 7.7% with less trucks, it means that there's higher value coming in every cross, and every truck that's crossing. And secondly, when people do come across, instead of shopping for maybe one night or for one day, they're probably doing larger purchases because they're not going to come as often. So it's been hard to read what the true impact is for the community. And anytime we see a drop in the number of people crossing the border, that's bad. That's just, we have to address the situation. The other factor that is impacting how efficient our ports of entry are operating is the most recent announcement of the reassignment of Customs and Border Protection personnel from ports of entry to support activities of the Border Patrol and other parts of the border region, more border states rather than specifically immediate border. As we lose personnel in the Douglas Port of Entry and a port that is already understaffed, my hat's off to the port director, Mr. Quinones, and the entire staff at the port, because trade and people are continuing to come across in spite of losing. Can't confirm the exact number, but probably in excess of a dozen staff have moved on to support other activities for Homeland Security. Yet trucks are getting across, people are getting across, cars are getting across. Tremendous respect for the staff that we have here on the ground. They do a tremendous job. But we have to do more. We have to equip them. We have to get more staff. We have to improve their facilities and outdated infrastructure. And that's why our continued efforts to advance our two-port solution continues to grow in importance for the long-term viability of our community. Towards the end of 2018, you might recall, we had a presentation by the General Services Administration, which they presented their initial findings of the feasibility study that was looking at modernization of the existing port. And during that meeting, GSA, General Services Administration, confirmed that the only long-term solution to address issues of border crossing in Douglas that will get that was to build two ports. In other words, their study, very technical, security, and everything else, confirmed that the two-port solution is the only way to go for that. Since that meeting, we have continued to work in advancing the project from a number of fronts and perspectives. In particular, one of the things that we welcomed was the creation of a technical working group. This technical working group brings together all the principal and relevant stakeholders on the project, including the City of Douglas, Cochise County. Also see that Patrick Sheridan is here, who is chairman of both the Douglas IDA and the Douglas Economic Development Corporation, as well as the Douglas International Port Authority. These are some of the principal local stakeholders that have been with us all the way from day one. In addition, this technical team now, we're expanding it to include utility services, Transportation. So we're now reaching out to Arizona Public Service Company, reaching out to Cox Communications, and we already received, if you might recall, at the end of last year, letters from Director John Halakowski of the Arizona Department of Transportation, which him and ADOT, he confirmed that ADOT is prepared to partner with the city and that stakeholder team on the design and planning for the connector road between the port of entry at the new location to State Route 2. Can't just build a port and have a dirt road connection. They wouldn't make that kind of investment. So that technical team has been continuing to do its work. On March 26th, actually, we have arranged a technical, a conference call for the technical team to map out sort of the next steps. This is kind of stuff that is perhaps more technical behind the scenes, but nevertheless, we thought we'd touch base with you on. And they are directly applicable to the resolution that is before you in your consideration. Some of the highlights include, first, that the preferred location by all the stakeholders in our conference call is that the James Branch Road location is the preferred location. Second, the city of Douglas reaffirmed its intent to donate up to 80 acres of land, which is provided you can actually identify the 80 acres in the map that is before you, that is currently owned by the city of Douglas and is directly adjacent to the port of entry and also to James Branch Road. Third, Cochise County, as already been expressed by Supervisor English, has agreed to pay and conduct their master plan for the development of the land all around the port of entry. And I can't stress how important that step is. It will make us smarter how we move forward with the development. And again, a reminder to all of us, the ports of entry are not the end game. They're but a tool or a catalyst for everything else that will come along with that port of entry. Fourth, there is much work that needs to be done in order to, in that discussion, and I already talked a little bit about this, the fourth is we need to have all the additional infrastructure ready for once that port of entry becomes the road connectivity, electricity, water, wastewater, sewage, data, broadband. This resolution again confirms that commitment to continue to advance all the related initiatives that are required by the Port of Entry. And I do want to stress that GSA, even on the conference call, mentioned that because there is no infrastructure at this point in time, their plans include some interim or short-term stopgap measures. For instance, they talk about potentially a septic tank until sewage is available on a regular basis. And they clearly state, listen, that is a short-term solution just to get started, but it is not the way for us to operate that port of entry. The resolution that is before you is also will help to reaffirm to our federal partners, particularly General Services Administration, our commitment to advancing the port of entry, as they are also advancing the necessary investments to build a new port, as well as modernizing the existing port, which puts Douglas, I would get the ports of entry now a system in line for upwards of $150 to $300 million of investment in the next 3, 5, maybe 7 years. We're anticipating that the request for funding of the new port of entry be presented as part of the budget request to Congress on or about the fiscal year 2022. That may seem like a long time from now, but for a federal project, it is just around the corner. And there's tremendous amounts of work that needs to be done between now and when the budget request goes forward. There's all the environmental compliance, presidential permitting, and all that ancillary infrastructure that we talked about. The environmental compliance alone with the brand new port of entry, if everything goes well, is probably 18 to 24 months. Because it's greenfield. There's nothing there. And there's no pre-existing port of entry there. So the environmental compliance alone is probably going to take that much time before they can actually request the money. So 2022 may sound far. It is not. I also want to take this time to recognize the work of Ms. Watson. She's been instrumental in getting confirming the visit by Congresswoman Kirkpatrick. She's going to be here in Douglas on April 17th. Not only doing a port tour and seeing potentially the sites where the new port might be located, but she's also going to be engaging and stakeholder discussion at a luncheon at a later point in time that day. Not only is she a member of our congressional delegation, but she plays a very critical role because she sits in the House Appropriations Committee. They hold the purse strings over the federal government. Her position in that committee is critical to the advancement of this project, and she has already emerged in a very short time as a true advocate for what we're trying to do with Fort Central. In addition to our senators and our reaching out to our entire congressional delegation, we stand a great chance of advancing this project within the timeline that's just outlined. So with that, I just want to reaffirm that for us, the port of entry is not the end game. It is a tool for the type of growth, job creation, investment, and expansion of the tax base that this community is ready for and in the future. So with that, I'll stop my remarks and answer any more, address any questions you might have.
May I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Hewish.
I move that the council approve resolution number 19-1332.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
You know, I know we've been talking about this for a number of years, and through all the information that I've gotten and we've gotten, we're getting close. And I think if we can all come together as City Council and Cochise County and State of Arizona, and of course we have to remember Sonora, Mexico, and Agua Prieta, you know, are part of this. But we're close, and so if we can keep everything together and have good teamwork, this is going to pass, and this will mean a future for all of those 350 students we have graduating from Douglas High School. Give them a reason to stay or to come back, and then this will help with growth with Douglas, and so we need to be united in this. So, thank you.
Mr. Hewish.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Ramirez, Ms. Watson. I believe part of the GSA, I don't want to say wishes, but suggestions, were that we also put something in there concerning annexation. I wasn't 100% sure that that was in there or whether that's necessary. So I just wanted to ask that question. If my memory's failing me, I know we want to do that, but I thought that it was one of their suggested points that we may have wanted to put in there.
Can't hear you.
We also have hearing aids for anyone. We have two, and I have one here just in case anyone wants some hearing aids.
We're right here and we can't hear hers at all.
No, nothing at all.
They heard here.
I'm sorry.
You can't hear us?
No.
You can't hear me?
Can't hear me.
I would like Mr. Flores to speak to that, about the resolution.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Mayor, if I may, Mayor Pro Tem, the annexation component goes without saying, and it's part and parcel of the project, and we began to work internally to get to work on the annexation component.
Mr. Mayor, for my follow-up, I appreciate that, and I think it's understood, but I was just wondering, I don't want any reason for them to be hesitant with us or anything like that, so I don't know if it needs to be in there.
Mr. Mayor, the Councilman, if I may address it, the word annexation is not necessarily inside the now therefore of the resolution, but the federal government is not necessarily looking at exactly how it is that we're going to get there. And by getting there means electricity, water, wastewater, everything else. What they want to see is Section 2 of this resolution, which, if I may read it, the City of Douglas is committed to working with the Port of Entry technical team for the overarching planning and development of the necessary infrastructure improvements required for the safe, efficient, and sustainable operation of the Port of Entry, including water, wastewater, electricity, data transfer capabilities, and road connectivity to the state and federal highway systems. From a GSA perspective, and we had this extensive conversation, we will verify with them again. We mentioned the intent to annex, but for them, it's meeting the requirements. They have no preference if it's the county or if it's the city that provides those services. The thing is, I don't know if you would like to add.
I think what you're referring to, Mr. Schulich, is the fact that they wanted the services, and they know that the city is the conveyor of those services of water and sewer. But they are very happy that the county is working with them in order to plan where the sewer and to help finance, because we did mention that. So I think while the word isn't there, they want to make sure that the infrastructure is there. We didn't mention that we're hooking up with APS either in this.
Well, I thought we were hooking up with Sonora.
But I just think one thing that you mentioned is that it's saleable point when we talk about Congressman is the fact that this will probably be hopefully nobody can get lined in front of it, the first port that serves both Mexico and the United States. Now, we've tried that here at the border with unloading and loading just one, and it's working. They tried it in Nogales, and so now the hope is that they will build a port with the necessary infrastructure in that port that they can serve both at the same place. So Mexico Sonora is going to be a real partner with them. And I think they have a willingness to do that.
Thank you very much.
May I add to that actually, as fantastic point that the supervisor just brought up. If you look at the resolution in line 24 or 24 and 25, whereas the proposed new port of entry for the West would be designed to build to embrace the principles of unified cargo processing that would house both U.S. and Mexican customs officials in a single facility and would make it the first of its kind on the U.S.-Mexico border. It is one of the commitments. It's just from day one. We're not talking about the old way of doing a port. We're talking about the visionary way of building a port on the west side of town. So thank you.
Just one more comment, if I may. I think we can't overemphasize the critical nature and the willingness of the county to help us. I know Mr. Ramirez brought that up, to help the planning efforts out there. I think it's extremely critical, and that was one of the thoughts of how we're going to do that. And Mrs. English and her crew stepped up and said that we'd like to handle that because the bottom line is what's good for us will be good for the entire county. And so that's why I think as a community, we're all behind this, or I shouldn't say we're all, I would guess 95% of us are behind it. Some may be a little upset of the placement, but I understand that, but this makes the most sense at this point in time. And also just a bit of clarification, I know we talked about a joint type of port. I don't want anybody to misunderstand that we're building something for Mexico. It's all us. It's just going to help facilitate commerce to get back and forth. And that's the key right there. And that's what's going to be built in this modern way to be able to facilitate that. And this will be the preferred port of entry, I believe, on the U.S.-Mexican border.
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
I just have one quick question. Was there any discussion, Mr. Ramirez and Ms. English, about a secondary location?
Right now, there were discussions of,
Here it is.
Nope.
I can answer that somewhat, because they did indicate that they had looked at Kings Highway, but they really didn't want Kings Highway because the Border Patrol is there and it would cause a congestion, but they had looked at that. So the study looks at everything. We didn't tell them what to look at, the police didn't tell them what to look at. But they had looked at that, but they gave us a reason why they didn't think that that was the preferred place for them to put it for. So they did look at it. I don't know where else they looked, but they mentioned that by name.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Grijalvo?
I just wanted to quickly thank Mrs. English. Mr. Hewitt took the words right out of my mouth. Mrs. Watson and I attended a mayor and city manager meeting in Wilcox. Mrs. English was there, and I was sitting at the same table as her, and she basically just said straight up to me, what can we do to help? The county wants to help you. And I mean, ever since she put her help out there, she's been one of the biggest supporters. If she isn't here today, we don't have this discussion. If she didn't take the invitation to come to the GSA meeting, we're not having this discussion. So I just want to emphasize how much of a help she's been to this process, and just thank her and the county again, because they've gone far beyond of what we asked for. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Mrs. English, grateful. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, I do have 2 speaker requests.
Okay. Dr. Gomez?
Thank you. I hope this thing is working. You know, when you look at that thing and you arrange where you're going to put it, if you don't include SRE and then the V in your plan, you're spinning your wheels. Because when I was mayor, we were going to put it behind the jungle. And then we were going to go on Chino Road to Highway 80. And we had the feasibility, 100% feasibility study. And I kept telling Dollar, the GSA that was in charge of the whole thing, he says, I kept telling him, where are the Mexicans? It doesn't show that the Mexicans agree to that, James, or any other place that the city might decide to put it on. If you don't include SRE and INDAV, you're spinning your wheels. I guarantee you, you're spinning your wheels, because when we met the last time, we had the 3 points of entry, and I had everybody in there. The governor's project director, I had the Arizona Mexico Commission director, I had even this guy Grijalvo. We walked into Grijalvo's with my manager, and everybody says, I know why you're here. You want to support Port of Entry. I will support you because I have a lot for Douglas. So when we had the last meeting in Nogales, I had the #1 guy from Grijalva, the ADOT director. We had a bunch of people. The #1 from McCain, the #1 from Kyle. I had all of those people in there, and SRE and INDAV were in there. And then when we started saying, we're going to put it over here, SRE and INDAV said, no way. You're not going to put it behind the jungle, because we need 5 lanes to come in from Mexico, and we don't have the room. So it went down the tubes. But the reason we thought we could do it is because we had the whole design, the infrastructure. We had the money, millions, to improve Chino Road to go up there. And Dollar said, come to my office. We made a mistake, we didn't include the Mexicans. Wherever you better put it in there, you better make sure the Mexicans agree where you're going to put it, or you're spinning the wheels. Spinning your wheels. I have a high regard for this guy. I've known him for how many years?
A long time.
Mr. Duarte?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I agree that Douglas needs that second port of entry, and I'm in support of that, honestly. But I do have a question. The numbers to me kind of don't add up in the sense of 28,000 trucks, 1.7 million cars, 848,000 pedestrians coming northbound, according to the stats of 2018 that Mr. Ramirez provided. My question would be, as a citizen here, and somebody who's lived in Douglas for a long time, is how many of these are new people coming to Douglas, honestly? Because honestly, in my day, I see people coming in and out of Douglas that are the regular, people, local people. From students coming in and out of the port of entry, from even my dad going to Mexico buying the tortillas or whatever it is coming in and out. How many people are really doing this? So I would like to ask you, Mayor and Council, Mr. Ramirez, anybody else, can you provide that number of how many people are really coming in as new visitors to Douglas? Based on GSA numbers or port of entry numbers. Because if those numbers are correct, what are we going to do for our public safety? Are we going to increase ambulance safety, firefighters, police officers, anybody else? Because, we work with a lot of foundations, a lot of people, and our numbers are always 16 to 18,000 people population. That's what, how we get money. But getting, 28,000 trucks, 1.7 million cars, 848,000 pedestrians. Man, our police force should be 1,000 people or so. We should have a lot more officers. So I just add that. Although I agree with this, can somebody please provide that number of true visitors to Douglas, just as an example or a reference? And hopefully we will continue this in 5 years and see this come to life. Okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6, presentation discussion by Dr. Melk concerning Early Childhood Center of Excellence. Dr. Melk, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, and City Councilman. Thank you, and thank you for inviting us, or allowing us to come and share some of our news regarding the health care of the children in this community. So this is a co-presentation. I'm actually being joined by one of my colleagues. Dr. Jeffrey Holzberg, but I just wanted to kind of set the stage quickly to give you a little introduction and background into this, what I call beautiful, special place, the Early Childhood Center of Excellence. So I joined Chiricahua Community Health Centers as a general pediatrician in 2010. I started working here in the community of Douglas. I just fell in love with my work here, serving the families. I think there's the salt of the earth, quite frankly. I love working in this community, and in 2012, Jonathan Mount, my husband, and I decided to live here, and we're raising our family here. We believe that the children in Douglas deserve not just good health care, but the best health care that you can get anywhere. That you would have to travel from Phoenix to come down here to receive this type of care. And we believe deeply in prevention, and that is why I'm a pediatrician. I believe in the power of what we can do to promote healthy development, because I know I can do vaccines and treat ear infections all day and do an excellent job at that, and it's really fulfilling, my work. But what I truly as a pediatrician want to do in my vision is that every child reaches their full potential. And I know, and we know, and science backs this up, that almost all of it has to do with the early childhood years. Our experiences in early childhood form who we are. Our brain is 90% formed by the time we turn 5. So I, as a pediatrician, take this to heart. I feel like it's my responsibility not just to screen for disease, but promote healthy development. And so in the well visit, we have a lot of opportunities to talk about things, but often we end up talking about formula and diapers and sleep, which is all important. But we are doing something very unique now at the Early Childhood Center of Excellence, and we are so fortunate to have been joined by a true advocate for this, I guess, crusade, I call it. Dr. Holzberg came to us about 1.5 years ago from Denver Children's, and he is our early childhood advocate. He has that role, and he is helping, he along with myself and the team are helping to bring this type of healthcare to life. here in Douglas. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jeff Holzberg. I'm one of the pediatricians that works with Chiricahua here. And just briefly, I want to give you a glimpse of the life, a little bit, of a doctor and sort of what we deal with in the clinic a little bit. And I want to share with you some of the growth that Chiricahua has done, opening this new clinic and a new program, and the way it affects Douglas children and even more Douglas families. So 10 years ago, Chiricahua clinics were very overwhelmed with the amount of acute care visits that we would have to see. In other words, sick visits that typically required treatments. These are things like ear infections in children, getting the common cold and missing school, ADHD treatments, behavior issues, and different illnesses like that. And the clinic was overrun by the amount of acute visits that it had to do. But over the last 10 years, under the leadership of the Melks, and certainly with the support of the city, Chiricahua has really grown, and just on Monday we were able to open our second pediatric clinic here in Douglas called Early Childhood Clinic. We now have 9 pediatricians from around the country that have been working here, that work here in Douglas. And as we've been able to grow, it allows us to not only see acute visits, but do something really even just as important, if not more so, which is something we call the Well Child Checks. These are your yearly physicals that you get for babies and for children. And what's so important about the Well Child Check is we get to talk about things that we don't get to talk about during ear infections. We get to talk about school and what's going on there. We get to talk about nutrition. We get to talk about sleep. We get to talk about problems peeing and pooping. Stuff that we know is important, but that really affects the day-to-day life of Douglas families. And certainly we can deal with infections, but unless we deal with the day-to-day, then as pediatricians, we're really not affecting the day-to-day life of the family. And so, one of the things that I've seen in Douglas since I moved here is the just incredible amount of love that these families have for their children. Coming from other cities and practicing in other places, there's something really special about the way families care for their children here. It's one of the big reasons that we have a higher percentage, 37%, I believe, of Douglas is under the age of 18, compared to around 25% for the rest of Arizona. This is a very family-based place and a child-based place. And so one of the things that I've noticed as well is one of the most common complaints that I see from Douglas families again and again are behavior issues. And I'm going to show you a photo of some behavior issues. So, behavior issues are probably what every single person can relate to. And these are things such as tantrums in a 2-year-old. Really violent tantrums that sometimes are even worse than normal. Hitting your head with your hand, hitting your head against the back of a wall, hitting your mom, behavior issues like issues in school, not wanting to focus in school, talking back to teachers, coming home, saying you don't have homework, but you really do have homework. And versus dietary issues, such as refusing to eat anything healthy, anything that even looks green. Instead, wanting to only eat McDonald's or quesadillas, or in this case, only wanting cereal, or really just wanting nothing at all. And these behavior issues are just really, really common the more you get to know these families. These are the things that affect day-to-day life. So they come to us and they ask us as pediatricians, what do we do? And as pediatricians, it's incredibly hard to know what to do, and the treatment is incredibly complex. It involves getting behavior therapy involved, partnership with some of the mental health institutions, and it involves years and years of behavior change. So what we realize as pediatricians, and one of the things that we're doing at Chiricahua is trying to focus more on prevention. It's a lot easier to prevent these problems than to treat them. And that's one of the big goals of this ECCE, is prevention. How do we do that? Well, we have a lot of different sort of ways that we're doing this. First, we have more time dedicated to well child checks. Talk to the family about their daily issues that are happening. But additionally, when a mother enters into the clinic with her child, we give her a box to put her cell phone in. And they put their cell phone in so that the mother and the child are not distracted by the cell phone. Instead, the mother is able to give her undivided attention to that child. We have reading corners so that they can read together. We're going to have volunteers from Cochise College and possibly from some of the local nursing homes. So that they can teach the parents how to read to their children. Then they go back to the room and they have toy boxes. And so really changing the way that we sort of present a clinic to the family. And finally, there's one other thing that we should tell you about, and it's a new program that we're starting here called the First 365. This is a program that's exactly as the name entails. It focuses in on the first 365 years. It's a very long program. Focuses in on the first 365 days of a child's life. And what we do is we partner with families to align all that love that these Douglas parents have for their children. And what we do at these visits is we teach the parents about what's going on in the brain of that child, of the brain of that infant as they get older. And we give tips and tricks and parenting behaviors to support what's happening in the baby's brain, so that we can align all that love to allow that baby's brain to grow to its maximum potential. And what we do with giving these tips and tricks is we help parents understand behaviors that they can do to prevent behavioral outbursts later on. The first 3 years of a child's life are the most important years of their entire life. And so what we need to do as pediatricians is focus on teaching the parents how to interact with their children so that when they're 5 or 8 years old, they don't come to us as much saying, hey, my child only wants to eat McDonald's and I don't know what to do about that. And so the ECCE, this new clinic, and the PCE, and really all of Chiricahua is committed to prevention and continuing to grow our efforts in that. Thank you.
We want to say thank you for the service that you, the Melks, the leadership that the Melks have invested in Douglas. I think that I'm great taking care of kids. They're the future, and it is imperative that we monitor them, that we take care of them, and it's amazing to see that the first experience that you saw in this community is love, and that's something that the community definitely has, so thank you for sharing that.
And I'd like to invite you all. This Saturday there's an open house for the Early Childhood Center of Excellence. If you were not able to make it to the ribbon cutting on Monday, from 2 to 5 p.m., the entire community, you're all invited to come and actually walk through the clinic and hear more about the program.
Thank you. Item number 7, presentation, discussion by Amanda Bailey from Cochise County Public Information. Is she here? She's on her way. We're going to move right on to presentation discussion by David Carranza, our Economic and Community Director, concerning economic development in Douglas, Arizona.
Mr. Mayor, we can just take a brief break so Mr. Carranza can
set up his presentation.
That'd be great. And then we can also thank Mrs. English, so she doesn't have to wait this whole time. So. We'll take a quick intermission here so we can prepare the presentation for the economic
I don't remember his last name. Mayor, I apologize if I don't remember it.
He was always I'll give you the
I know that never happened to each other. I'll ask if
Mr. Hewish? Register with Mr. Hewish. We are back in motion with a presentation from our economic developer, David Canassa. Thank you.
City Manager, Mayor and Council, thank you very much for this opportunity. What I have before me is one of my books of my book of work since I've been here for since 2017. That's one of my, I couldn't bring the other two, so I just want to make sure I just wrote one of them. One of the things that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, including the shareholders within the community, is what I've done the last 2 years as an economic developer here in the city of Douglas. What you have is a presentation that's going to share with you what happened in 2017 and continues today, 2019. What happened was we had a vision in the economic development department to bring forth, and what I gave you as copies is the plan that started, which was the 120-day plan. I can leave that for your reference. You can use that. That was completed, and I'm proud to say that one of the examples I used was for Lou Olson, our favorite coach, that said, "Without a plan, you plan on failing." And I can tell you that Hall of Famer coach is one of the most inspirational coaches that I've ever met. So I used that, and I've used that with all the plans that we were able to use for the economic development department. What we did as the economic development department was we had to go out within the community and actually meet with all the assets in the community. And that's what you do as an economic developer. You go out there and you visit with people and find out exactly what the needs are. And we did. This is a grease board that's in my office and still remains in my office today that gives me different areas of importance that we thought that was something we should go after. And you look at those, some of them you brought up today, the port, jobs are important, industries, capacity, electrical. We have some people who make decisions as well. And I think it's important to know that this vision started way back in 2017 when I first arrived. As I mentioned to you, what we do is, as economic developers, we actually knock on doors. The reason when we knock on doors, we want to know exactly what the people are wanting for their community, and we did that. What we did is we actually looked at all the opportunities that were here in Douglas with respect to the number of beds, the capacity of inventory of buildings that needed help. I have another binder that's in my office that we put together that was important because it showed the capacity of the buildings that were in need of repairs up and down G Avenue. And we actually had a plan for that. We also put together a top 10 list of the major employers in the city of Douglas, and I have that as well. You don't have it in your presentation, but if you like, I will give that to you as well. Secondly, what we did is we actually reached out to the Arizona-Mexico Commission. I think what you do with that is you gain valuable connections within the group in order for you to find out exactly where you can get industry or other top jobs for this community as well. And as well as you know, and many of us know, the Arizona-Mexico Commission is a great resource. I also traveled down to the border city of Agua Prieta and went to 5 maquiladoras. I wanted to find out exactly what we needed to have here in Douglas. So I went to Gildan, went to the Velcro facility, Mefasa, and several other maquiladoras, which are very, very, very interesting because they have a lot of technology that a lot of people they don't realize that they move a lot of product in and out of the entire community of Alberta into our community, and then it gets dispersed throughout the United States. I didn't know have that information. This is 2017. One of the other things I was able to do as an economic developer within the Department of Economic Development is this. Help with the baseball game. I was promoted for the baseball game. Oops. We also were able to help Chinatos bring in a comedy club, which is real good. I think one of the other things that we're proud of is the cabañas we had. I think Mr. Shelton, you mentioned on the way in, there wasn't really anything to show the people there in Douglas, and now we have 2 cabañas that we put up in 2017, late 2017, and we use those as a way of introducing people to Douglas. Some of the other things we have, markers, we have the 2 movies that we helped produce with help from the producers. One of them is a local gentleman here and from Douglas, and we also have another one. That one is called Burrito Cowboy. The other one was Otro Lado. Those are 2 major productions that were done here in Douglas, and the Economic Development Department helped that as well. The other ones were the thing that I also have great pride in, and the Economic Development Department has great pride in, is we help the community of the G Merchants up and down Avenue G with installation of signage. We actually partnered with APS as a partner, and we actually installed the signs up and down G Avenue, as well as some of the other art culture district murals we have, and also the other things we took charge of was the advertising, and the advertising as well with a billboard on I-10. And all along the way, I also got another degree, so I'm now I'm official economic development from Oklahoma University. I think that's important because you know they have the knowledge of a person that has economic development. The nice thing about what you learned on Monday is ASAP was something we looked into in July, because what happened with the budgets in major cities is they shrink a lot, and here in Douglas it's no different. What we originally wanted to do, we wanted to use a company called Buxton, and that amount of money was too expensive. So we actually used Mark Apple, of which you were presented the other day, of ASAP. And that's the thing that's done, it's in place, and it's part of the plan for 2019 as well. We also had Seago involved with us, and we want to make sure that the suppliers and manufacturers in these areas as a cluster would help what we want to accomplish in the Douglas area. As far as leveraging the Bisbee Douglas International Airport, that goes without saying. It's actually an asset to this area. I looked at that as an asset, and we're actually using that as an asset to this day. We'll continue to use that as an asset to this day. The other thing is, one of the interesting things I used as far as economic developer, economic development department was, we went after manufacturing for the Douglas Municipal Airport. Interestingly, I use the magazines that I get from Public Works. They are all airplane magazines, and most of the baby boomers have expendable money. And what I went after is calling on a regular basis every single manufacturer I could to see if they would come and manufacture airplanes at the Douglas Municipal Airport. You were probably wondering why. The reason why is that if we can get them here, we can have them live here for a while, they can build the machines, they can fly them, test fly them, then they can fly them home within a 6 to 8 month period. Excellent opportunity, and to this day I haven't gotten one, but I'm still calling. The other thing that we worked on was the rocketry. The opportunity of Bisbee Douglas International Airport affords us the possibility of actually launching rockets into space to disperse satellites. And that's another thing that's ongoing, and we're working with the county on that and other players, and hopefully that will materialize in the near future. It's a long-term project, and we're also working with the state of Mexico to get airspace approval. Entrepreneurs in our market, work with them individually. G Water on G Avenue, Maria's, there's a few. We've worked with several of the Power Zone gyms. I've worked with all the Lidas groups with Douglas Merchants Association to make sure that they're all needing and wanting information that they get on a regular basis, helping with their potential signage and also their advertising and all the marketing. And we also tried getting the banks to come in here, but it's very difficult because in 2001, the problem that happened in Douglas was the de-risking of the border, and that was probably the worst thing that ever happened with the city of Douglas. We lost 2 banks here. That was Bank of America and also the Chase. Along the way, I had to develop another plan, and I'm happy to say this plan is complete. The only exceptions are the quality of life and also the POE. Those are the areas that I was not involved in. The economic development department was not responsible for. And I gave you a copy of that as well. I think you should look at that, and you can say to yourself that 90% of that plan is complete. There's strategic measures in there that we put, and some of those strategic measures are listed as I'm going through this presentation. The leveraging of state and regional partnerships was a nice thing to do. But I think the most important thing on this slide right here is the healthcare partnering with Haven and the DUSD to produce some additional nurses. I think Adam Brake is in here. I think he could also shed some light on that. It was a nice thing because we have now the ability to process more nurses through the Haven channels, and I think it's a great thing. The other thing is when we were first here in 2017, we wanted to get DOA down here. I think that's an important thing, and we're actually working with them right now to bring that to reality. Now, we have some people from APS. I want to make sure that I give them a round of applause. They've done an excellent job with the APS. The other thing is we now have high-speed internet within the period of time that we've been here. I think the economic development without these will not go forward, and I think that's easy to say. And we thank both of those players, and also they're going to be players now with what we heard earlier with the port of entry, which I think is excellent. This is a wonderful thing that when you have a plan, you have the ability to look at things and shoot for them. The prospectus that you're going to get as well is governed by the information that was shared on Monday. And what was shared on Monday is the number of people that cross on a regular basis, the Mexican nationals that come across. 90% of them actually shop in Douglas. They spend almost $250,000, etc. Some of the things that are in the prospectus that you're going to be given is something that we're going to be doing here the rest of 19 and 20. I think it's a great thing to have. The other thing you have within your packet is we're going to continue with the downtown revitalization. And one thing that I'm very proud of is that we've actually beautified one of the buildings in downtown, and we're going to continue doing that as a revitalization of downtown. Having met with the real estate people with IDIS Group and several other merchants, they view it as necessary to make sure that G Avenue is beautified. It's a great thing. I think it's an opportunity to enhance the image of Douglas, and we're going to continue working it. Now, the cross-border high profile, you have the information from Monday, and I can answer any of those questions because I do have also the study that came back from Eric Lee about the entire Mexican border that he mentioned on the other day, on Monday as well. So I'll be more than happy to talk to you more about that in any given time. Now, the other thing that's really nice about what we've been able to do in the economic department is to help these buildings be sold as individuals. I had the opportunity myself to tour all the buildings, including Marriott. I know exactly what's upstairs, man. So I know exactly every individual building up and down the corridor, what they have, what they look like, if they're actually easily saleable, et cetera, et cetera. In the bottom left-hand corner right there is the lady I worked for a year and a half trying to sell it in the city of Douglas, and Allison Armstrong bought that building. She's an artist, and she's redoing the entire building from the inside and the outside. She's going to have an art gallery, and she's going to live in that place. The other proud factors of Mangueros bought 2 buildings in downtown G Avenue, and we also have now the Chase building is sold, and hopefully that moves forward with the development. We'll be meeting with the owner very soon. But the last thing we were able to do is sell a property that's right there on the corner, 902 H Avenue. And I believe Mr. Ortega, I haven't seen him already, he's going to be here later on to listen to the resolution that's going to be applied to this mayor and council. These are just some of the buildings that sold up and down G. There's been properties of 12 that have been sold. There's 15 new businesses up in G. So we're very proud about that as well. This is another informational about the Sierra Vista. You know about this. This was given to you on Monday. Sierra Vista study. The study that was given on Monday took the information from the Sierra Vista study. And you know what? That study was never given to Douglas. And the reason it was never given to Douglas was because 90% of the shoppers that were coming from Mexico, they didn't go to Douglas. They didn't go to Sierra Vista. They stopped here. So they never gave it to us. So I found a copy and I read it, and I called Eric Lee and said, we need to make sure we have a study done for the Douglas area, and it happened. He presented that information to you on Monday. Here's the prospectus that you will receive a copy on. And as economic developers, and Luis mentioned to you, the port is a catalyst for a lot of opportunities. But this is another opportunity. It takes the capital gains from investors that want to invest in certain areas throughout the country. And we're going to use this in 3 areas. In a lot of cities, what they do, they take maybe 15 to 20, but here we're just going to use 3. And those 3 areas that we've elected to use are these areas right here. One is a mixed retail business, and the reason that's happening is because 90% of those Mexican nationals come out here. We need more tax dollars to make the city grow, et cetera, et cetera. And the second one is the Cochise Industrial Park expansion. Someone asked me the other day, do we have any site-ready facilities? Yes, we do, and that's one of them. Increase housing stock to make sure we keep people here and grow the bodies here from 16 to 18 to 19. The vision is that I always had is to hopefully have Douglas be bigger than Sierra Vista. Why am I not? Here's the mixed-use retail. It's just south of the Walmart. Up above is an area which you could actually use as a nice repairing area with picnic tables. You have water running. A nice place to have the tourists come in from Mexico, shop, eat, and maybe sit up there in benches, et cetera, et cetera. Golden opportunity. It's about 120 acres right there. There's 3 owners, and one of the owners is Freeport McMoran. I'm sure they want to do something with that land. I know the other one is City, so I know we want to do something with that land as well. So that's the one, mixed use retail. This is the site-ready industrial park. It's off of 191. These are the opportunity zones, and the opportunity zones afford us a great example of actually growing our warehousing. And I already have some investors that are going to come and talk to us about that possibility as well. And I think that with that investor coming in, he'll be able to find something within that industrial park facility. The other one is the housing. I've been in contact with this gentleman since 2017, and he's out in Indianapolis, Indiana, and this piece of property is over 2 miles by 2 miles square. It's not square actually, but it's about 2 miles by 2 miles square, so there's plenty of room there for development, and the phases of development would create probably around 1,344 potential new housing possibilities combined with apartments. This will also have an additional retail area for the people in that area, gated community, et cetera, et cetera. The reason it's a nice area, the one to the right was one many years ago that was not developed. There's I think 3 or 4 houses in that area, so then that area could actually continue to grow as well and be a potential hub where people want to live here, whether it be retirees, whether it be border patrol, et cetera, et cetera. These are the 3 areas that we're going to look at going after, and I already have commitments from the landowner on this as well. Now, according to the ASAP that you learned on Monday, these are the functional areas that we have selected as a group, and some of the people are here today, and they'll probably remind me later they didn't touch and everything. But here's the nice thing about the ASAP study. You have to have information available for what you want to go after. What I used the first year I was here I did use some market analysis from Maricopa Association of Governments and also FEMA Association of Governments to find industries that I could go after. And what I had, and I found some. So that's happening as we speak. So this thing is going to help us along the way. You, the mayor and council, put your heads together, looking at these 5 and figuring out what is it that we want to have for the city of Douglas. What kind of industry? These are the 5. The first one is the general purpose machinery manufacturing. What that is pumps. You're talking about escalators, freight conveyors, cranes, et cetera, and the specifics can be given to you as well. I think you do have a copy. I think I'll give that to you when the final study was done. Next one is computer and peripheral. And the reason that I think the group selected the computer and peripheral was because of the STEM program. They're not going in. You need to have these students go in areas where they can actually use their STEM thinking and ideas to build the computers, whatever it may be. It could be cars, it could be coding for that matter. That's one of the other aspects of this computer peripheral. The most exciting thing for me though is the motor vehicle manufacturing. Someone told me, David, you're not going to get Toyota here. How do you know? If you don't know, you don't knock on doors, you're not going to get anywhere. So the group suggested motor vehicle manufacturing as well. And the reason it's a good idea is Bisbee Douglas International Airport, perfect, because it has the foreign trade zone, and the taxes are negligible. And the nice thing about it is they're able to make a lot of money in manufacturing, whether it be a truck, a car, electric car, or whatever we want to go after in that area at a reduced cost, and they're going to make money. Now, wholesalers, as far as packaging, this goes both ways. The group decided what we want to do is have the wholesalers package all their frozen products here and then ship them on the other side too. So we have products going both sides of the border. Well, produce from Mexico comes this way, we package it and freeze it on this side of the border and possibly sell it that way, or get all the other frozen aspects of the wholesale business and send it to Mexico as well. They're consumers as well. And this is another aspect of us possibly going after a cluster that we can create more jobs as well. And then finally, the last one is the telecommunications, I think it's fantastic. He mentioned the city that's actually Wi-Fi driven. We have all these nodes everywhere, and you can get Wi-Fi everywhere. It could be now another revenue source for the city and their enterprise. We can do that. That's an idea that was brought up. The other thing is for coders, gamers, they can actually code things and make games and so forth. This is another possibility that we can actually use as well. And again, this was a community effort for the ASAP process, and now we have a plan for it, and we're going to be using it for, with your help, for the next year and beyond. Finally, the last thing I want to talk to you about is the strategic way of financing businesses within the community. It has been extremely tough for the city of Douglas businesses to actually get financing. I think some other businesses will acknowledge that because there's not so many banks here. They have to go to Tucson to get financing. And we've actually brought a few bankers in here, and I think with us, with me, and the rest of the economic development department, this is me, go after these banks and see if we can actually find some additional revenue sources, capital for these businesses that are within the city of Douglas. The other thing is build to suit. For identifying the potential owners of properties that they want to build. I think that's another great opportunity for the city of Douglas. And finally, the last one is communication enhancements. When I was in the city of South Tucson, I created a simple thing. It was a newsletter that I actually created. It was sponsored by Circle K, and I hand dropped it at every single house within the city of South Tucson. There's only 4,500 homes or so here in the city of Douglas. That's another possibility as well, to get them the information of what's happening not only within the city of Douglas, but also economic development and any other tidbits that can happen. And we can actually post it to the website as well. I'm so excited about actually bringing this to you because I think what it shows a trend of a vision that was started in 2017, and it's not done yet. It's not finished. Because I think one of the ideas that I shared with Brendan when I was being interviewed with the group, they said, what's a good idea? Well, I want to have a trolley that goes there all the way around G Avenue, all the way around Pan American in one route. So with that, I'll have you ask me any questions that you might have, because I'm pretty happy to present to you today.
Thank you so much, David. We appreciate your presentation and your enthusiasm. We're going to jump into, I believe Amanda Bailey is here from Cochise County, and she also has information pertaining to marketing and tourism with regional partners. Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, I just wanted to let you know that at my request, Amanda's here tonight because I saw her do her presentation at the Mayor Manager's meeting, and I thought it was something that all of you would like to know because they are embarking on a new program in the county which will benefit us. So with that, I hope you'll get kind of a little glimpse into what marketing and tourism is about, because we do have a halftime person here, and during budget discussions we can talk more about what that means for us.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I really appreciate it. My name is Amanda Bailey, and I am the Public Information Officer for Cochise County. But I am also the chair of the Cochise County Tourism Council. And that's an organisation that's been around for quite some time, for several decades in fact. But we haven't done a great job of letting Cochise County know what we do and how we spend your money. So we're starting to improve that, and so tonight I'm just going to try and get through this presentation as quickly as possible and talk to you about how we do spend your money, because you are invested in this organisation, and what we plan to do in the future. So the Cochise County Tourism, and on each of these slides you're going to see some quotes, and these are from travel writers that have come to Cochise County as a result of the work that we do, and they've gone back to their various publications or websites and written about Cochise County. So you can see some of the things that have resulted from the collaborations that we have with our travel writers. So we do operate under intergovernmental agreement, and it's a collaboration between the county and the municipalities, so Douglas, Bisbee, Benson, Wilcox, Sierra Vista, And we all pool our resources together, so everyone pays a certain amount of money into the budget. Our annual budget is around $135,000, and it's based on, everyone pays $5,000 base fee, and the rest of it is based upon population. We are looking to maybe change our structure. The IGA it will be up for renewal in June 2020. And we have a council that's made up of the tourism representatives from each of the communities, and so there's one representative from each community that makes up that group. We are overseen by a steering committee, and that's made up of the city managers and the county administrator. And as I mentioned, we pool our resources so we can get maximum exposure to Cochise County. Now, each of the communities have their own marketing budget as well, and their own tourism centres. They're also marketing each of their communities. But this one is to market Cochise County. And then the Tourism Council, we get together once a month, and we meet around the county, and we talk about our advertising strategies, where we want to market ourselves, and where we want to spend that money. And everything is decided through a majority vote. We also work very closely with the Arizona Office of Tourism, and we work with them on various marketing campaigns, and they offer us a cooperative deal. So throughout the year they have their own campaigns they do, they tell us about them, and we can choose which ones we want to collaborate on, and that makes our money go a lot further. So this is the target audience we have. These are the kind of people that we want to bring to Cochise County to enjoy the many great things that we have to offer our tourists. So obviously anyone seeking a rural experience, we are kind of out here. We don't have major cities. We're not a metropolis. We have that peace and quiet that people are looking for. Obviously the Old West, that's a huge part of who we are in Cochise County, and a lot of people come here to experience that. And also the culture that we have, we're right on the border. We have a great international culture that we have to share with people. Sierra Vista is a well-traveled city, and we have a lot of people from outside of the county that live here. Obviously outdoor with the great weather that we have, the hiking, the biking, the mountain trails, very popular. And then a growing market for us is food and wine. Obviously we have a very robust wine industry here in Cochise County, and then we have a lot of great up-and-coming restaurants. We have award-winning restaurants, we have fine dining, we have something to suit all tastes, and people are coming here looking for those kind of experiences. We target people with a moderately high household income. We want them to come here and spend their disposable income, and we're looking for people just looking to get away from it all. So these are some of the geographical areas that we target. We do have one staff member, she's part-time, she works at the Sierra Vista office, and she is our marketing coordinator, because the rest of us that are on the council, we have other things that we do as well. So we hired her to take care of our marketing needs, and she's been with us now for about 18 months or so, and she's been doing an amazing job and really transformed the way that we do business. So these are the areas that we specifically target. There are some other areas we look at as well. These are based on the visits to our website and to our social media sites as well, and also the target audiences that the Arizona Office of Tourism looks at as well. So let's talk about where we actually market. So we market through various mediums. Of course, print is still a traditional way of marketing. It's still very important, and it's still a good way for us to reach people. So these are some of the publications that we market to. The Arizona State RV Travel Guide has a circulation of 120,000 and goes throughout the USA and Canada. The Tucson Official Travel Guide has a circulation of 200,000 people. AAA, I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. That goes to over 500,000 households. Experience Arizona goes to 65,000. The Arizona State Travel Guide goes to over 450,000 people, and is distributed both nationally and internationally. True West Magazine, obviously that that takes care of the Western market that the people come here for. That has a circulation of 75,000. The Summer Vacation Guide has a circulation of 1.5 million, and its target audiences are Phoenix and Tucson. And then finally, the Western Writers of America is a professional industry publication and has a circulation of 20,000. And all but two of these, we use the cooperative funding that we get through the AOT, and that's how we're able to afford to advertise in such large publications. Obviously, digital and audio and video is a huge growing market, and it's one that we're trying to get into as much as we can, as much as our budget will allow. So some of the things that we're doing right now, Barry's Audio Everywhere is a radio campaign. They put out advertising through Spotify, CBS Radio, Slacker Radio, and we're targeting some of the geographical areas I mentioned earlier. And we currently have a 6-month campaign running as part of the co-op deal with the AOT, and that's proven to be popular as a 30-second ad that's going out internationally. Madam remarketing ads, these are these banner ads that you see, if you look online, you're doing a bit of shopping, you decide you want to buy something, you decide not to buy it, but then the ads keep popping up on other websites that you visit. So we're taking advantage of those, and we're targeting people that have shown interest in Cochise County and the things we have to offer. So we currently have a campaign running with BAT, again in conjunction with AOT. And then the Quoncast video, we recently had a video made by Madden Media, which showcases Cochise County, and that is going to be running on Hulu, ABC, CNN, ESPN, and some other national channels as well. So we also try and get out to various conferences and events where we can. Travel Classics West is something we've done for around 3 years. It's a huge event that brings in writers and editors from across the country. It's held in Tucson, and so we go to that and we talk to these writers, we try and get them interested in Cochise County. And in the last 3 months alone, we've had 6 articles from that, and I'll talk more about where that's been later. The National Tourism Association Conference was just held up in Tucson also. That is mainly tour operators that we've been marketing to. We're trying to get more people to bring their tours to Cochise County. That was a very successful conference for us, and the AOT recently brought a group of tour operators here to Cochise County. The Roundup Conference is Western Writers that will be participating in June. We also attend the Government's Conference on Tourism. That's an annual event in Phoenix, where we market and network with other tourism professionals. The German Mission, we partner with AOT and also Visit Tucson. They're a really good partner for us. They do actively promote Cochise County since we are right next door to them. And they are off to Germany to target the German audience. They love Tombstone, they love the Wild West. And so they will also be marketing Cochise County on our behalf as well. And then we attend various events, recently at the county fair last year, and so we're trying to also talk to local people, staycations, and get local people to learn more about us on their own doorstep. So these are some of the, I talked about travel writers, these are some of the ones that we've had come to Cochise County in the last 6 to 8 to 12 months. And as a result, they have published information and articles about Cochise County. The Points Guy, some of you may be familiar with him, very popular. He talks about credit card points, airlines, hotels. He gets 7 million unique visits a month to his website and to his social media. And they recently highlighted Cochise County on their material. Afar.com is an online-based travel site which has over 750,000 unique views as well. The Denver Post came down and they wrote a piece about our wine industry, and they have a circulation of 135,000 and they have more than 6 million visits to their website on a monthly basis. Yes Magazine is another online-based travel website, has over 400,000 visits monthly. True West Magazine recently did a piece on us and named Tombstone as its Western Community of the Year. And then At Ease is a military publication, and they also illustrated a piece on Southern Arizona. Well, we have a website, explorecochise.com, and actually we've just updated it in about the last week or two, so it does look slightly different. It's more modern. We've got more information on there about the things to see and do here. And around about in February, we were averaging 22,000 page views over a month. We're currently up to 40-something thousand a month, so we're really getting some attention. We have an active Facebook page. We also utilize Instagram, and we also have a additional newsletter as well. Rural remarketing. This is another campaign that we're partnering with the AOT with, and these are website ads that we've been putting out there to specifically market events that are going on. Again, we want to have people come here and have those experiences. And these are some of the recent events that we've been advertising, and as a result of that, we've had over 400,000 impressions come through that advertising campaign. We've had more than 600 clicks through to our website, and we're seeing an above average, industry average click-through rate for our website right now. So that is proving to be a very successful campaign for us. These are just some of the ads that we use. Some of these pop up on some of our digital media campaigns. We're really trying to, although history is really important, so we're not going to get away from the Old West here. That's part of who we are. But we're also trying to really market those experiences. So the great food that we have, the outdoor adventures. Believe it or not, you can go rock climbing in Cochise County. And of course, birding is hugely popular, and we have great culture along the border, our wine industry. We have so much to offer here that people just don't realize that we have. So just a few facts and figures. These are the parks in our county that are either a national state park or a national or a state park. And the two areas that we've highlighted, Chiricahua and Kartchner, have seen a significant increase in visitation. We've heavily promoted Chiricahua in the last year or two, so we think that's paying dividends for us. The Kartchner Caverns, as many of you are aware, was named the best caves in in the country by USA Today. So their most recent figures show that 175,000 people visited there last year, so they are really seeing those figures go up, and we've utilised that in our marketing, and that's really paying off for us. I'm actually going to do some different figures on this, because when I looked at this earlier today, I realised that these figures weren't exactly accurate. So recently, Robert Carrera, I'm sure you're all familiar with him from the Centre of Economic Research, did some updated figures for the Sierra Vista Merchant. People ask us, how do you measure the success of tourism? Well, probably the best measure is to look at our sales tax, and where are we doing with retail, restaurants and bars, and hotels and motels. So he compared from January to November 2017 and January to November 2018. He doesn't have the full figures yet for the rest of the year. But retail saw a 2.4% growth, restaurants and bars saw a 0.3% growth, and hotels actually went down. They saw a negative 4.6%. Now those figures may not blow you away. They're not amazing figures. However, when you compare them to previous years, how we've been doing as a county, we've been in this recession for a long time. Those are actually great figures that show we are turning the corner, and that people are starting to spend their money. They're starting to visit our restaurants and bars. The hotels, we are looking at that. We're looking at ways that we can encourage people to come here and stay here for an extra day or two and turn that number around. Hotels and motels go up and down. It's notorious for going either way. I just want to emphasize how important tourism is to Cochise County. We have people working on economic development, and we have many assets here in Cochise County, but the number one asset I believe that we have is tourism. It's the number one industry for Arizona. And we have so many assets, we have so many things, so many unique qualities that we can market outside of our area. And so you'll see that Tourist Arizona, it's over a $20 billion industry to our state. We're seeing figures go up for visitation. We've had nearly 44 million people came to Arizona in 2017. These are the latest figures that we have. Travel spending is worth more than $300 million in Cochise County alone. That's what people are spending when they come here. You'll see the tax receipts that we benefit from, and also the number of jobs. More than 3,600 jobs are here because of tourists. So this is an industry that we really need to invest in, and it really is a huge part of our future and our future success. This is just a profile that the Arizona Office of Tourism put together of kind of what the typical visitor looks like. They did encompass Tucson and Southern Arizona. As you see, many people plan their trips here in less than 1 month, and that, I think, shows that we have a younger demographic maybe looking to come here, because they're the kind of people that do kind of plan at the last minute. We have, most people come here in their own vehicles, so they'll drive here, but we have about 5% of those come by RV. So we have several RV parks, as you know, in Cochise County. These are the things that they're coming to do. They're looking for those experiences. They want to shop. They want to eat in great restaurants. They want to taste great wine. And they want to experience the history and culture of an area. And we have all of that to offer. And then the average age is 50. So I think that's a fairly young age that's coming here. It's not just the retirees that are coming here anymore. And we have people of all ages coming, and we want to see that figure go down. So our current logo is Cochise County Land of Legends, and that's our tagline. We brought that in probably about 2 decades ago now. And at the time, it really suited Cochise County. But I don't feel that it speaks to who we are as a county anymore. We didn't have the wineries back then. We didn't have as many restaurants that we do now. I don't think it speaks to where Disney is, to where Douglas is. So what we're looking to do is do a rebranding campaign and look at where we are, bring a company in to do some really good data, some research, and look at who's coming here, who's not coming here, why they're not coming here, and how we can market to those people. We want Cochise County to be looked at in a different light. We have so much more to offer. We have this great cultural experience. We have great arts down and events down in Disney. The wine tasting, the amazing outdoor activities and the weather we have to offer. Who knew that you could go lesson around on the water in Cochise County? We have a lake that many people don't even realize that we have here. We have great eateries and coffee shops, stargazing is second to none here, and we have great family activities as well. And of course we have the history of the Old West. That's still a very important part of who we are. We have the hummingbirds, and we have, yes, we do have the show in Cochise County. I think we're going to get some more on Friday. One of the reasons for doing this presentation is to kind of ask you to think maybe a bit differently about Cochise County and how we can approach our marketing and how we want to market ourselves in the future. This is a very short video just to show you the great assets that we have here.
as you can see, we have so much to offer people, and so as far as this rebranding campaign goes, what we're looking at doing is bringing in a professional company to come and do the branding for us. Sierra Group did that very successfully, and we realized that's not a cheap endeavor, and we realized that budgets are tight throughout the county. So we're looking at some creative ways that we can afford to do this. And the whole point of this is to come up with a brand that not only speaks to tourism, but that speaks to quality of life as well. We want to attract people here to not only come and visit, but to stay, open a business, raise their families. So the way we're looking at doing this, we're looking at our current budget of the Tourism Council, and we probably think we can pull together around $50,000 from our budget so we can put towards this. We're looking at doing a public-private partnership, maybe looking at some private investors that may want to contribute towards this. I just got a commitment today for $25,000 towards that. We're also, I'm going to put this out there, like I said, I realize budgets are tight, but maybe our communities could invest a few more $1,000s for the coming year into the Cochise County Tourism Council budget, specifically for the branding. And then we'll have a brand that every single community in Cochise County can use and can be proud of and can buy into and can really help with our marketing efforts. So you'll be hearing about that a bit more in the coming weeks, hopefully. And then, do you have any questions?
First question. Mayor, I just wanted to thank you for coming because this was a presentation that was given to us in Wilcox, and the open-mindedness for you and your committee. As I remember, the mayor of Bisbee said this doesn't represent Bisbee anymore. Bisbee is more arts and culture. So I mean, it also gives Douglas an opportunity to rebrand itself. What are we now? We're not the land of the legends, right? That's more Tombstone. We can separate ourselves and bring a different feel to Douglas that other communities don't have. So I want to thank you for bringing this presentation to us, and hopefully council and the economic developer can put our minds together so we can come up with a rebranding of Douglas, because we're pretty successful now, but I can only imagine if we put our heads together what can happen. So thank you.
Yeah, we have to all pull together if we want to be successful.
Thank you so much.
I've got a comment. I didn't see the Gadsden Hotel there, which is probably one of the most unique things in the whole state.
Right.
Let alone the county.
We do regularly love the Gadsden. It just doesn't have to be. I didn't put somebody else put it out about birding as well. That's just my fault. I just didn't put it in. So.
Oh, wow. A lot of birds.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
And John Slaughter Ranch out there, which is very historical.
Correct, yes. Been there several times.
Ms. Bailey, thank you for showing us what marketing and tourism would look like if we work together. Thank you so much. Item number 9. Person wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. Before we start, I want to wish my daughter Madison a very special happy birthday. She asked me earlier where was I going, because I was not singing happy birthday to her. So she's probably watching right now, and after you hear me give you this big shout out, turn off the computer. Okay, so up we have Ms. Ida Pedrego.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This evening I'd like to address all of you, because I'd like to give a voice of support for you and for the council. Because I believe that as a mayor, you have provided promoted Douglas outside of Douglas, and the people that have been visiting our community, the people that been talking, whether it's in the newspapers or the articles that have been written, have been very positive. But more so, I also wanted to say thank you. Thank you for supporting our community in the different things that we've done. For example, I know that tourism, something that we brought to you, and now we have Jenny Jordan providing 2 tours a month, and that's all because of the City Council and with your direction. I want to say thank you. The other thing is, Douglas was really outdated with the pamphlets that we provided to visitors to our community. That too has been addressed. The map, the city map, was very outdated. And also, again, to your direction and with the help of many city employees, these things have been done. Not only that, the support for the Spring Festival, which was a great success. So it was so successful that we hope to have another one in October, the Fall Festival. And we're planning for that one too. But more than that, I want to say about our community, I know we have a lot of naysayers and people with negative comments about our community. Douglas is going to grow. It's not dying. It's reinventing itself. We are looking ahead, not behind. I know when I was asked to sign the recall petition, I asked specifically, why are you asking me to sign? And I was told of an incident that occurred more than 2 years ago that has nothing to do with the relevance of today. And many of the comments that I have heard, and on Facebook, that's where I hear a lot of stuff, it isn't accurate. But the greasy wheel is what people are hearing. And I want our community to hear that it takes all of us. In fact, all the presentations that were shared today were very positive. Very positive. Things are moving forward. We don't want to move backwards. Our community has been there. We want to move forward. And I'm a believer that that's where we're going. So I want to say that I support the city and what we're doing. Yes, we make mistakes, but which one of us hasn't? When we point the finger, so thank you very much.
Mr. Brady.
My name is Adam Brake. I'm a Douglas resident and the Executive Director of Haven of Douglas. I just wanted to comment tonight on some of the wonderful things that are happening among the community's healthcare providers, one of which we were fortunate enough to hear about earlier from Dr. Holberg. And as you've seen from Chiricahua, there's amazing things happening there. I invite anyone in this room, if you've not had the privilege to visit the Childhood Center of Excellence, to talk with Dr. Melk or Dr. Holberg about everything that's happening there, you ought to. It's incredible. A Childhood Center for Excellence like this isn't just a fun amenity put on a brochure. It's a paradigm shift for how parents in Douglas are going to take care of their children. Everybody should be adamant supporters of this initiative, and everyone should not only voice approval, but take advantage of what they offer. As a parent, this project, although I'm not part of Chiricahua, it has a special place in my heart. Nothing happening. Haven Health, Cochise College, and Copper Queen, we're all in constant conversation about how to make Douglas the hub of healthcare training, as David Carranza mentioned earlier. We hope to have even more options for workforce development coming out soon, and we're actively looking at creating a pool of staff so we can share nurses to ensure that every nurse in Douglas has a job, and our two corporations are supporting one another. Another thing going on, an organization called Step Up with Douglas is working hard to make health and wellness the focus of the community. We're also focusing on improving recreation and business involvement in health of the community and trying to get more organized activities for the community and encourage businesses to focus on health and wellness. And lastly, Haven Health, we're in the testing stages of opening our own non-emergency medical transport company, open to the residents of Douglas. Primarily, we're focused on, right now, helping patients through ours and those of Chiricahua as we're testing and ironing out all the kinks that we have on their transports to Tucson and Sierra Vista. which those transports alone, $350, $400, as we can lump people together in our big vans that we're buying, we can cut those costs in half. So we can have reliable transport for half the price to Tucson, so we can get that kind of healthcare that we need there. We're optimistically hoping that this can be open to the public in the near future. As of right now, we are currently working with Chiricahua and our patients, but we're very optimistic in the future of non-emergency medical transport. As always, I implore everyone here to step up with their involvement in the community. Mayor and council, you have some great businesses and great citizens in this community who want to be involved. Utilize them, utilize committees. Those who want to be involved, simply, it's a lot easier if we get an email from the city saying we have this committee than for us to do it ourselves. You know, we're all pretty busy. And I want to thank you as well for your service. As difficult things seem, as lonely as they seem sometimes your position, many support you and many wish for your success.
Thank you so much. Mr. Morales?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. Danny Tijo Morales, 77 3rd Street, Douglas, Arizona. I'm a former city councilman from Ward 1, as well as a former mayor pro tem. Mr. Mayor, it pains me to come before you tonight to say some of the things that I'm going to say. And I want to say it with all my heart and with all respect, nothing personal. 3 months ago, you and I walked in this building together, and we had a conversation about what was to take place for the city's business. And I told you then, and I mean the same thing tonight. I'm praying for you, and I pray that you make the right decisions. And I hope that you will make those decisions. That night, unfortunately, I believe you did not, by not renewing Mr. Russell's contract. So with that said, you have a decision before you, as everyone knows, this Friday, whether you're going to resign or not. Should you not resign, respectfully, I will tell you now, in front of all these witnesses, that I will run against you whenever you call. It does pain me to say this, but I want you to know that I'm not saying this with any personal agenda or any personal motive, but for the good of the public. My intentions are clear. Beyond the 20 years of experience in the Navy, which I'm still serving in, beyond the 20 years of ministry that I have, which I'm still serving, that started here in the First Assembly of God as a youth pastor. Beyond all that, the city of Douglas and the citizens of Douglas need to know what my intentions are. And for the record, I will say that as the next mayor, I will put in my purview everyone under review who is appointed by mayor and council, whether it's a committee person or whether it's a department head. And if the mandate is such from the city of Douglas to fire people, I will lead the charge to fire people. No one will be left out as far as that decision is concerned. If the decision is to rehire people, such as Mr. Russell, then I will do so. Because it's based upon the mandate of the people. We work at their pleasure. A sufficient number have said that they want to recall. So I, as a citizen of Douglas, who's motivated to serve my family, which I believe Douglas is my family, I will answer that call. In closing, as I mentioned before, I want you to know that nothing is personal. It's completely business. I've run against friends before in the congressional side, and I hope that we will remain friends as well. God bless you, Mr. Mayor. God bless your family. God bless your families as well, members of the council, and may God bless the city of Douglas. Thank you.
Mayor, council, and my audience. My family came here in it was the early 1940s. We came because of health reasons. We have been in Douglas, at least one member of our family, for 76 years. We have stayed in Douglas. We love Douglas. We love the people until now. And one
this is hard to do because not all council members were involved. But the three that were not involved in a travesty, and I would like to congratulate Margaret Morales, Ray Sheldon, and Donnie Huish. They knew it was wrong to do what the rest of you did to a person who really had set this town apart. And I think, I don't know what your reasons were, I don't know what your reasons are for being on the council. We have an individual here, and by the way, I did not know Jim Russell until I came to this meeting. I came on my own, just to get here, because I can't stay and just watch somebody be treated the way that individual was treated. And I hope we do have a recall. I really hope we do. Thank you.
Mrs. Robles.
Honorable Councilwomen and men, and Honorable Mayor, my name is Olga Robles. I live in 809 Main Street, Douglas, Arizona, and I'm here because my community is very important to me. And lately I have lived through insults that the mayor has made about our city, saying that we're racist. No, that's not so. Because if he had a little bit of common sense, he would have held that statement. Because if he thought about it, had Douglas been racist, you would have never been elected to the office that you hold now. But the citizens of Douglas have been hurt, and they no longer have confidence in you. We've lost our confidence that we gave to you, and you took an oath to take care of our city and work for our city. But you know what? You forgot about it. Once you were in there, you were all for Robert Uribe. You worked for the city of Douglas. And besides, you spent a lot of money that shouldn't have been spent, like changing the logo. That was an expensive deal. We didn't need it. You did it. Then you went on and bought expensive Christmas trees that weren't needed either. In this town where the transfer checks is what makes this town go round, you could have gotten any tree at the park and decorated it and saved the taxpayers $10,000. You spent the $25,000 that should be reserved for a recalled election. So we don't have that money now. You've gone and you fired or you got rid of our city manager in a very unhuman and inhuman way. It was terrible what you did. You went and we have a charter and you went across our charter. You needed 5/7 to vote on it. What did you do? You had 4/7, but you did it your way. That's not the way the charter says it's supposed to work. The charter is not reading just because we want it on paper. Let me tell you, a lot of citizens worked on that charter. For certain reasons, you have to obey it. So I'm sorry, Mr. Uribe. I would like to see you resign. Step down. Please don't make us spend that money that we don't have. We're already in the red.
30 seconds remaining.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ms. Romo.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and members of the community. My name is Nubia Council. I live at 551 10th Street. In 2019, well-known community leaders formed a committee, and together along with the community, were able to succeed in a successful recall election. Community members working together succeeded in a recall election. Regardless of what may happen today, tomorrow, or Friday, this is a very new beginning for this community. It truly shows that if a community works together, they can accomplish anything. This next chapter in our history should be setting goals to revive our town. This town has so much potential. We need to believe in it. 5 years ago, very few people came to these meetings. Today, we have no room. My hope for whatever happens in the next few days is that our mayor and council listens to our community. This community has a voice, and we should be heard. Involve your community and ask our opinion. New boards and committees should be built with community leaders and not friends or relatives. Transparency is obviously huge. Things need to be things of the past, and everyone deserves to be involved. So many things can change this town. Uniting together has proven if something needs to be done, it can actually be done. Let this be a lesson to us all, as this is a new beginning to the next chapter. I commend anyone that ever takes a chance in office. I know it isn't easy. Whoever stays or comes, please consider what your community members ask. It is time for a new mentality. If a community can achieve a recall election, imagine how much we can all achieve together. Thank you.
Dr. Gomez.
You know, you can talk about tourism for 35 minutes, but nothing brings more into this town than events. Events makes people come from all over now. The Street Guards are going to have at the end of May, a car show. They come from Vail, Hereford, Nogales. I talked to them. Bisbee, Douglas. It's packed. That's what brings people into Douglas, events. Now, we had a DHO run. You should have seen what great response we had. Mayor didn't show up. My feeling is that he doesn't want to communicate with the constituents. Why didn't he show up? It was a major. We're trying to raise funds to Life at Ease. You know what? We're paying all the expenses of Life at Ease. And $1,200 to lease the land up there to the state. $500 to make the application. We paid it out of the Life at Ease fund, which they have nothing to do with it. Nothing. And so, my feeling is the events are the most important thing this fest will bring people to Douglas. Freeport-McMoRan, Blue Cross, and Rotary Club, and Joe, we have got Joe Chavez, the assistant chief. Make Douglas safe. We will give anybody a smoke alarm. All you have to do is call the fire chief, put your name and address, and we'll make sure that if you can put it up, we'll deliver it to you. If you can't put it up, we'll have somebody put it for you. We want them to install. This is a project that make Douglas better. Thank you.
Mrs. Vega.
Good afternoon, council members, and Mr. Rodriguez. I'm the outsider looking in. I have no part of the recall. I have been no part of this recall. I'm a proud citizen of the Douglas-Porterville area. My roots are here. I have served the community of Douglas, taking care of the sick, saving lives. For me to say that I'm not a resident of Douglas, well, I'm wrong. My roots are here. They're embedded here. Let's start off with a few years ago, Mr. Olives, when you had Galeano. You had to sign up stating wanted. My daughter went to apply there. You interviewed my daughter. After the interview, you stated to my daughter she was not a fit. She went home in tears. She went home crying with a low self-esteem because of what you stated to her. She was not a fit. That was very degrading to her. I will thank you for that because you have made her a very strong person, a very strong, well-educated, who is working at up in Phoenix at a hospital up there. You have made her. We talk about discrimination. You're not a fit. Talk about racism. I don't know. You also make, in your, you also talk about the recall, and the community was misinformed. We, the community, are clearly aware of what is going on and what is happening. We are not misinformed. You stated you're not sure why this recall is being conducted. Well, go back to your social media. You have so many comments and whatnot on that page. You've been with social media. You've been with the reporters. You've been with Channel 4 News. You've been with Univision and Lazarinto, whatever that other place in Mexico is called. Did you forget about that? The problem I see here is denial. You, sir, are in denial. Acceptance is very hard to digest sometimes. Except the recall is real. Except the community is very much aware of what has happened. The community has voiced their concerns already. Look at your panel of councilmen. Look at your panel. There's 3 very well represented council people here. You had your attorney going around talking to city council members or city employees along with community stating he's next in line to go. What is that? What kind of, you know, now let me get to that. You, Miss Brenda, look at your behavior towards the false accusation, the animosity towards the innocent man you made me wonder who's really...
Ms. Vega?
Yes?
You're directing it to the council?
She's part of it.
No, she...
So, Mr. Russell, I will say, he is a man of true honesty, dignity, respect. And for that, we have respect for this gentleman. Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. She would be here and say to you, as you reiterated to her, she's not a fit, just like you are not a fit.
My name is Tanya Duarte, and I live at 2001 9th Street in Douglas. Today I stand before you with positivity. During last month's council meeting, it felt like a new life had been born with our council members. Each council member spoke about what they could do to represent their ward and all residents in honorable ways. Your constituents are thankful to have seen that openness. I sincerely thank each of you for doing your best to let the residents of Douglas hear your voices. You represent us, and we want to hear you. I want to thank Councilman Grijalva for his honest letter to the editor in the Douglas Dispatch, defending me, other recall volunteers, and the community as a whole. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to express gratitude to Council Members Shelton, Morales, and Hewish, and to interim City Manager Watson for also expressing your support of the truth. With the mayor's new Facebook slogan of "The truth never fails," I hope for honesty and transparency in several concerns I would like answers to. Number 1, Mayor, who is Jessica Lomeli? How did she have access to Brenda Aguilar's pending lawsuit documents? the same documents that she posted on your Facebook page. Was there an investigation by the city for this egregious leak by a city employee? What was found? What recourse was taken? With the investigation of Mayor Uribe's allegations of racist attacks to the Douglas Police Department, we've seen the report. Where has it gone? Was anything founded with that investigation? With your false claims to La Barcelona, Univision, and Telemundo that the organizer of the effort to recall you is racist and gives false statements, would you, Mayor Uribe, care to make that claim here, directly to the people of Douglas, and directly to me, as the organizer of that recall? I didn't think so. With the investigation of Jim Russell now completed, and you guys very, very quickly brushed over that at the very beginning, that, oh, nothing was found. Move on.
30 seconds remaining.
We've already shown instances where the mayor has said false statements that were hurtful, deceitful, and seemingly said to cause harm. Mayor Uribe, you guys need to hire Jim Russell back, do the right thing, but more importantly, the recall is going through because the truth never fails. You need to resign. Thank you.
Ms. Lorna Tiffy.
Mayor, City Council, representatives, citizens, this is really tough. I have spoken previously about perception. Unfortunately, that's how we got here. I attend these meetings frequently, and I was shocked when I first heard a person addressing the mayor and council regarding a credit card charge and perceptions that the money was being misappropriated and stays for meetings were being extended. I figured that there was a misunderstanding of some sort until it happened again and again and again. Ignoring the man only gave the impression that things were being hidden. Why wasn't it addressed and resolved? That was the beginning of my concern that things were not going as they should be. Why not release the records? Why not sit down with him and review his concerns? The shocking news that the budget was in the red was another scare for me. Council, how did this issue go so long without it being noticed? My perception of the mayor and council is as a team, but all I see is multiple factions with different agendas. My perception is that it's not working well for any of you either. The cavalier handling of the previous city manager's dismissal was another issue that made me think that there was some underhanded dealings going on here. That's what it looked like. There was a serious lack of transparency. Mr. Mayor, who advised you on that disaster? It doesn't sound like you. An exit interview would have been so much more professional and much less damaging and transparent. The last straw for me was clearly irresponsible dismissal of the protocol in hiring the standby city manager. I'm sorry, I don't know what the formal title is. No offense intended. It was steamrolled. There was no other resumes, no other choices, and a huge cost that only put us further behind the 8 ball. We could have hired a consultant for you and to do the MOU or MOU? Yeah. You mentioned for the business that wanted to come here, and use the remaining money for a professional headhunter to fill that much needed city manager's position. This is all about me. This is what I have perceived. Doesn't mean I'm right. I could be very wrong in my perceptions, but at this time I have no confidence in your leadership, Mr. Mayor. This is not personal, sir. This is business. I'm gravely concerned about my community in its fragile state. My perception is that you are a great dad, loving husband, dedicated service. I support you in your life in your past business and art projects, and will continue to do so. I cannot, however, continue to support you in your role as the leader of our community. No one has threatened me or strong-armed me or given me any reason not to do what I felt was best. I have not heard of any witnesses being threatened or what have you. This is all based on my position, my perceptions, and what I feel is best for my community. You need to move on, sir, to something else.
Thank you, Mr. Mrs. Duarte.
My name is Jose Duarte. I live at 2001 9th Street. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, and honorable council members, thank you for allowing us constituents to speak freely here today at the City of Douglas Council meeting. First, I would like to say that I'm still very disappointed in Mayor Oliva's position as Mayor of Douglas. Mr. Oliva, honorable council members, and members of the community that are here, know that I am hereby asking you, Mr. Mayor, to resign effective Friday, April 12, 2019 by 4 p.m. I want you to know that your time with the City of Douglas has been an experience that I hope we don't have to deal with in the near future. Now, why do I say this? Well, since you were out during the last council meeting, another meeting since, you have divided our community, my community, for the last 40 years, and have caused so much harm that it will take some time to heal. Your words about racism have hurt us so much that even you have used the N-word on your social media accounts. You have posted those on social media accounts, and as of today, you took an oath to make a decision that you're promising to the people of Douglas as a whole, not just a specific clique or cliques. This is from a person who's supposed to be professional. Cliques or cliques? Well, Mr. Mayor, Douglas does not have those type of cliques. And as adults, we're trying to do the right thing for the city. Now, councilmen and city attorney, did you guys know that the mayor is violating federal law when it comes to posting on his official mayor or even social media account? I sure hope you didn't, because if you did, and the city attorney did, and did not correct that action, it would be a great breach of duty for our city attorney and the city of Douglas. Several people have asked you questions on your mayor's post, to which you have either blocked or unfriended those people, to include me. Under federal law, the politician who use social media as a way of sharing information cannot, and this includes even our own president of the United States, block or unfriend people on social media just because they don't like the comments. So therefore, I have spoken to very important people who like to challenge politicians that have asked me under the Freedom of Information Act for your official mayor Facebook page who you blocked and unblocked. And that has been served to the City of Douglas City Clerk's office. Now, if the mayor refuses to provide that information, I guess there's another thing the City of Douglas did not budget for, and we'll have to pay for the lawsuit in violation of the First Amendment rights of us, the people. What a predicament, Mr. Mayor, you have gotten Douglas into. Well, let's see. It's been racism, recall, harassment cases which were unfounded, and now imagine a lawsuit for federal crime under the First Amendment. Wow. You have truly damaged the City of Douglas horribly. Council members, I recommend that you look into hiring a social media public information officer for you, Mayor and Council, to make sure that these childish comments do not happen again, and the you council members have a duty to maintain the integrity of this council for us, the people of Douglas. Let him use his personal accounts when it comes to his posting, but let's have somebody with class, education, responsibility, and less childish tactics or comments. The City of Douglas cannot and should not have any more negative issues in the future, and we as a whole can begin to heal. I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Rivas. Don't cause us any more problems, and I ask you to resign. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, I thank you for the opportunity to let me speak. I apologize, we have dressed, I returned late, I was out of town, and I really struggled to come in and say what I have to say. And I thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Mayor, when you were running for mayor, you ran against and read over and over what you had to say, and I voted for you. I believed in you. Since late November, I started hearing comments about yourself and the administration that concerned me, and I struggled, with it because I was surprised. Now, running for office, whether it be council, mayor, takes courage. Like I told someone, I'd rather run to be Hill. Serious, takes courage. Boy, what I will ask you, Mr. Mayor, respectfully, is to look into your heart. You have come to a crossroads of your mayorship. The next 2 days will be very important, not only for yourself, but for this community that I love very much. Very much. And I will respectfully go with what you decide. Okay? I thank you for this opportunity. God bless all of you.
I don't usually comment back, and today I am incredibly moved, inspired, and at the same time disappointed. Am I perfect? Of course not. And just to put it into context, I went from being a barista, from being someone that makes smoothies and sandwiches, to being responsible for this amazing community. And have I made mistakes from 2016 to now? Absolutely. Have I been surrounded by the right people? That's questionable. But one thing is for certain. When I hear that, I heard a comment. Someone told me. A perfect example is, why are we in the red? How did we get there? Why wasn't the council aware? Why wasn't the finance meeting taking place here to discuss why were we entering the new year in the red? The recall. When the petitions or the document was taken out, it stated there that the reason why I was being recalled was because I broke a city charter rule. I broke a rule. And from January 17th to now, I've heard that the mayor has overspent. And you all know that the mayor can't spend single-handedly $236,000 on his own. I mean, how can the mayor of Douglas spend $236,000 without the approval of these men and women? So, that's one theory of the recall. But originally the recall was because the mayor did not have a council meeting on January 17th to discuss the renewal of Officer Russell. Well, we had the meeting.
I'm sorry, sir, did you read the entire summary for the recall?
Ma'am, I gave you your chance to speak. I respectfully listened to you. Now it's my time to speak. So to hear the anguish, it hurts me. It breaks my heart because I do care about this community. I love this place. I have done the best that I can to represent you all in the most thoughtful capacity. And tonight's presentation was motivating because it seems like we're moving along. But I will tell you this here, I will not resign. Item number 10.
Mayor, before we go on, I can't help but comment that there was a comment made by someone about the leaking of documents. I think we need to direct staff to look into that because the integrity of our government. So I'd like to direct staff to look into that.
Thank you, Mr. Yadler. I think that's a great suggestion, and we can definitely get the ball rolling on that. So we'll have to get the city clerk, the city attorney to start the process. Item number 10, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda. Yes, I'm sorry. We'll take a quick intermission so we can use the representative.
45 days to build a cycle, that's why the fire department is the red. 45 days for the take to sell. But can you address that and not blame the fire department for being in the red shirt? When you're back on this, please, because that doesn't look good on you, sir, blaming the fire department when the care is given for the constituents of Douglas. Building cycles take 45 days, and the majority of Douglas residents are on accidents, and it can take up to 90. And exactly. Thank you.
Resuming back into our regular council meeting at 8:33. We're moving on to item number 10, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items. May I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Lutz.
I'd like to move to approve consent agenda items as follows. Expenditures for the month of March 2019 totaling $1,576,030.06, and meeting minutes for February 13, 28, 2019, and March 7 and 13, 2019.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Morales, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 11, discussion decision on approval to accept the cross-border economic assessment findings. Mr. Carranza.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, I know we have the background information, and in the interest of time, I would hope everybody would provide an extremely brief version of it. It's available online if anybody wants any more information, and so we can move this every
In not so many words, Mr. Carranza, he wants you to be,
not only you, young man,
anybody in the future can follow.
Well, let me talk.
Mr. Ganassa, go ahead.
Briefly, you were a witness to the excellent presentation on the cross-border study that was done on Monday. I hope that you accept the findings of that study. And then since I'm not up here, I hope you also accept the findings of the ASAP study, which is the next agenda item.
Terrific. Thank you. Madam Mayor, Mr. Hewish, move that the mayor and council approve the acceptance of the cross-border assessment findings.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Grijalva. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, one quick comment.
You just told him.
You just told him. I know.
These next two items, I want to make them all at once. They're fluid documents and they will be updated, so it may not be the crystal ball, but it's the great base to that crystal ball that will help get us to progress. Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 12, discussion decision on approval to accept the area sector process analysis ASAP. Mr. Ganassa? Okay, very good. Mr. Mayor? I move that the mayor and council approve the findings of the area sector process analysis ASAP. Is there a second?
That's the acronym, not that we do it.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Soto. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I do have a speaker request.
Thank you.
If there's no discussion.
Sure. Mr. Morales?
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I come to just briefly mention a couple ideas that go to the two presentations that were offered, or actually three presentations that were offered on Monday. But in particular, for the last two agenda items, and that two ideas that came up in conversation with those who were attending the meeting on Monday, as well as this morning at Hispanic Chamber of Commerce mixer. But I would encourage the members of the council to consider hosting on our great city website. We have a great city website, have lots of compliments from touring the district here. But to host a virtual tour, housing opportunities, both rental and for purchase, on our City of Douglas website. So several real estate companies would, I think, be amenable to that, to be approached to offer some kind of a video so that we can give, especially our professionals and young families that are looking at coming into our community, whether they're CBP officers and their families, doctors, or what have you. So I think that that's something that we should honestly consider, and perhaps maybe interim city manager can look into that. Going back further, to make our city more welcoming, is to consider rehosting another Welcome to Your Hometown event and partnering with the various chambers here in town to offer a welcome session for families who are interested in coming to Douglas, or those who are newly arrived in Douglas. So we did have a successful event that was hosted several years ago. At the time, I believe it was Mayor Ortega who was the mayor. But we had great responses from CBP officers and their families, who were welcomed with open arms. Resources were made available to them. They were aware of the resources within the community. So I would highly encourage these two particular initiatives that go along with these two particular agenda items that Mayor and Council should respectfully consider those names as well as interim manager. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 13, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1333, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting the city of Douglas Public Housing Authority's, the PHA administrative plan for fiscal year 2019. Mrs. Gonzalez. Sorry about that. I was looking at Mr. Eddie Gonzalez. That's scary. That's real scary.
This is a housekeeping item. We are required by HUD, who we receive our funding from, to annually submit to them for approval our administrative plan, as well as a civil rights certification form, just telling them that we are conducting the business of the housing authority as outlined by them in the regulations.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish. I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1333.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion? I do want to say thank you so much for your leadership in the housing department. The grants, everything that you do in there, it's really appreciated by mayor and council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-13334, 19-1334, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the extension to the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and the Douglas Unified School District number 27 for purposes of providing paramedic and animal control internship and externship experiences to high school students in the city of Douglas. Mr. Pedrosa.
Mrs. Pedrosa, actually.
Oh my God. Sorry.
It happens. You know my first name is Mayor, members of the council, this is also a housekeeping item. You have both approved in 2012 and 2017 an IGA with the high school to be able to allow high school students to do these externships with our animal control division and the fire department. We currently have 5 students at the fire department doing this, and this IGA is going to cover us for this school year at the end of May. So this is the first one just for housekeeping to cover us for this school year, but we're going to be coming back probably in about 2 or 3 months with a new one that is going to automatically renew, so it's not as hard for students to have to wait until we do this every year for them to be able to do their internship.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish. I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1334.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
So it involves the people that I truly love and adore in animal control.
That's correct.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 15, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1335, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and Cochise County for city planning services. Mrs. Watson.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This item before you relates to the absence of a city planner here among our staff. Those functions currently are happening with people who do a good job and what they're aware of, but we do have safety considerations and people that need to broaden our expertise as we grow, and that's one of the reasons I reached out to the county and asked if they could help us out during the interim time when we don't have a professional planner and staff. Planners, what do? They create and shape the face of our community and the built environment. They develop and help us keep the land use laws and our plans and programs current when it comes to planning our city growth. They also develop cohesive and legal responses to population growth through annexations, which we're about to embark on 4, that we're going to be looking at shortly, and develop in the city. One of the things that's currently in the legislature right now is actually a zoning requirement to keep tobacco establishments a certain distance, and they want to know what cities already have this regulation where they can keep them from schools or churches and other things. We don't currently have someone here that could help us do that. That's just one real example of something a planner would do as different businesses come in and different areas of our community are built out. Work plans, and sometimes they revitalize the landscape, streetscape, and city-owned facilities, whether it be downtown or planning for reconfiguring a city park or adding one, and side-by-side development of compatible use. They help ensure that growth pays for itself, the right fees are collected, and the right kinds of measures are put forward to the council for approval. So, the county has agreed to partner with us, and this IGA before you tonight will help us do these kinds of things, until we can actually hire people.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish.
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1335.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hewish, I heard Ms. Grijalva, second by Councilman Grijalva. Any discussion?
I have a question. The need for this will be determined by whom in the organization to reach out and say we need this particular aspect completed for us.
Yes, I've already consulted with the county, and they're willing to accept any IGA we put out there. Because we've already stood up an annexation team, that individual will help us actually lead that charge, because they have all the land use and they will do the study, the notifications of the property owners around. But there's a lot of detail that goes into that, and right now everyone here is pretty busy. But that'll be probably one of the first things that we have them do if you all approve the contract tonight.
Mr. Mayor, may I also follow up then? Who within city staff will have oversight?
I will.
Okay.
And this is not, other than the IGA, later on we'll talk about a city planner position. We're not asking for one of those right now. This is just the IGA to have those functions, move forward for us.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5? Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, thank you. Motion carries. Item number 16, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1336, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the city of Douglas and Cochise County to grant a lease agreement to the city of Douglas and define the scope of the non-exclusive 5-year for commercial use of the Bisbee Douglas International Airport in Cochise County, Arizona. Mr. Carranza.
I'll be brief. Basically, this is a resolution that needs to be approved with respect to the MOU that we've had at one time with the county for me not to be trespassing on their property. I actually sell BVI as an asset, and it's been done since I arrived. And I'd like to have the mayor and council approve this.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish.
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1336.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Council members, this is totally up to you. I do want to throw it out there. We can table some of these items for the next,
Exception one minute.
which items do you have on here?
The last one?
The property.
Mr. Mayor, 21 as well, we need to take care of that.
So, Council, do you want to move into 21 into those more important ones and table the rest? It's totally up to you guys, or we can stay for the entire meeting.
I for one like to push forward.
I would
Push forward. More to go.
Okay, very good. Okay, then go over.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I just wanted to sit up there.
No one is finished.
You have a question, Mr. Lewin? No, that's fine. Okay. Item number 17. 17. Discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1337, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, approving and adopting the Douglas City Council strategic plan for 2019. Mrs. Watson.
Right here.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and start, and we'll just kind of flip through the slides quickly when they get up there. It's just really our strategic plan, as you know, from our council retreat on March 7th. You all did a well of a job in 4 hours, and it's a pretty high level, quick strategic plan. and there's more work to be done. But tonight, what we're asking you to approve is what you did in that workshop, basically. We did have an abbreviated session, as you know, and we began with some team building exercises that also helped us learn about principles of human understanding, and that was the FAE, the fundamental attribution error, and some of the other fun things that our facilitator helped us go through. We identified, though, 5 areas that are focus areas, and we created goals underneath those focus areas. And then there is an action plan. It's just in draft form before you tonight, because we know that there's work to be done. The leadership team, most of you have told me you would prefer us to bring it back. We'll flesh out those details of the timelines and who's assigned to do what. And to remind you that a strategic plan anywhere is always fluid. And so every year, hopefully, the council will review your goals and your focus areas and then tweak it a little bit. Every year it's a budget tool, so if there's some change, then some of the things that flow up into the resources of the budget will be used that way. So if there's something not quite aligned to what you're thinking this year, you can either bring that up tonight or we can adopt tonight and then move forward, and just know that in a year's time you're going to be really re-looking at this again. This is a document, a fluid planning tool for the future as well. So your first focus area was collaboration, and the definition and the goals were set. I'll just briefly go over what the collaboration goals were. The first one was leveraging partnerships with the county and increasing collaboration and inclusiveness by 50% over the next 3 years. You also wanted to renew and refresh and create relationships with educational partners by at least 20% over 3 years, and to create renewed partnerships with your neighboring cities. The second focus area was community communication, and those goals were to increase community engagement and event attendance by 10% each year for the next 3 to 5 years, increase community knowledge of community assets and resources by 10% for each year for the next 3 to 5 years. Your focus area 3 was promoting Douglas, and your goals underneath that were to increase our visitors by 20% within the next 5 years and increase the city's population by 10% within the next 3 to 5 years. Your fourth area goal was trade and commerce, and you had 5 goals underneath that focus area. The first one was to retain a majority of existing businesses in Douglas and expand the number of new businesses by 25% over 5 years. Second was to retain the majority of existing businesses in Douglas and expand the number of new businesses by 25 over 5 years. The third was to increase sales tax revenues by 10% over 5 years. The fourth was to reduce unemployment rate by 10% over 5 years. And the last was to work to ensure that infrastructure framework is in place. Your final focus area was on infrastructure development and improvement goals. The first of your 4 goals underneath that were to enhance quality of life that increases citizen satisfaction by 10%. And just as a side note, the way you measure that is usually to do a community survey, so that will be one of the action plan items that you'll see come forward in that, because that's how you know. It's a metric that you can actually gauge that. The second is to improve your economic stability. The third is to improve the infrastructure system. And the fourth is to set aside recurring dollars for capital assets. Then you have the action plan, and I won't go into too much detail into that. There are strategies underneath each one, and then those strategies will then have the metric or the tactic that we're going to use with the timeline, and that's what we will be bringing back in your next meeting. So with that, Mayor and Council, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. And we'll put this, it's already on the website, but we can add more for the public if anyone would like additional information, since we weren't able to give the video of it tonight.
Mayor, Mr. Yosh, move that the Mayor and Council approve resolution number 19-1337.
Second.
By adding an amendment to have the leadership team complete the steps in the action plan and bring it back to get approval and adoption in May. Sorry.
Is there a second?
I took a breath.
Second. Second by Mr. Shelton. Motion by Councilmember Hewitt, second by Councilmember Shelton. Any discussion?
Mayor, I have an opinion here. I think that since we were all together starting that, we should be involved in it and not farm it out to others. we are the elected officials. I would have liked to see the motion be made on the first option.
Is there, support there? Councilmember Lindeman is asking that you want us to be part of the process of engaging with them.
I think we should be.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, express the reason why I did this is because I think we have given the vision of what we've had to that, and we have paid professionals that can be able to take care of it for us and be able to bring it back to us. It's not all of a sudden going to change from A to F because we have given them the vision already. And so I think that's the role of a governing body, is to provide the vision and allow staff to work on it. If it comes back and they want to put flushometers on each toilet in Douglas for a flushometer tax, then of course we're going to say, where'd that come from, and we don't want that. But I honestly, I don't know. But we're so extreme to prove the point. But again, we provide the vision, and that's why I felt that we needed staff to be able to take care of it.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may offer, the action plan items, when Nicole Lance was the facilitator, she took all those off the sticky board that were underneath each of your goals. So what you see as far as the categories and the write-up on the action plan actually came from the work we did that day. And again, we're just going to put timelines and staff to that. We can certainly have either a work session or when we bring it back to you, have that discussion to tweak any of the areas you want to add to or just take away from. So I think all of your work is really what's in the action plan. We're not recreating anything different. We're just making sure if, the steps, the tactics to get there, we'll say, okay, we'll need a community survey to reach this goal to be able to tell if we met that 10%. It's that kind of work that we'll be doing.
Okay. Mayor, I can agree with a lot of what Councilman Hirsch said, but there again, my concern is that we don't want to just have it handed off and then it just comes back someday. We want to be, I think want to be involved, and throughout the process, if I have a constituent with an idea, I'm going to bring it forward. And I want it to be more of a two-way street.
I understand. So you do want to make a motion to have hands-on or
well, you see, I can agree with what we're saying here.
Okay.
But as long as there's a caveat that we have a two-way opportunity, I don't want to sit down here for 3 months and then all of a sudden I look at this thing like I looked at this tonight.
Mr. Mayor, I would hope that the door would be open to any of us, right, to be able to come in and sit in whenever we would like.
And I can certainly, after the team gets the draft done, send it out, you individually can let me know if there's something more you'd like to see in it, or different that you would like to see in it. That's easy to do. We can also just schedule a couple-hour workshop, too, to come back and talk about whatever you prefer.
Do you think it's Elizabeth?
Councilman?
Yeah, I think that was what it is. Yeah, that was.
All right, so you guys are okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, as long as we can be somehow involved.
Okay. Fair.
It's your strategic plan with the leadership team, I totally agree.
Great deal. Great deal.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay.
Now, do we have to have that in the motion?
Mr. Mayor, I don't think you're going to need that. I mean, as long as I think
on the record.
Yes, Ms. Watson very savvy in this area, and she knows what the council wants. So I don't think we need to do any kind of amendment.
Okay.
All right.
Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 18, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1338, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a lease agreement between the city of Douglas and PNC Equipment Finance LLC regarding a new lease agreement for the purpose of leasing 25 golf carts. Mr. Mendoza.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Before you is a request for a new lease agreement with PNC Equipment. The MPC requested that we enter into a new lease agreement and dissolve the existing lease agreement of 30 golf carts due to the performance of the existing fleet, and actually bring their fleet down from 30 to 25. The 25 carts are a little bit more expensive. However, the monthly payment will not increase to what we're paying right now. It's just what the market is at right now, and the MPC is more interested in improving their fleet, while they are okay with reducing it to 5.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1338. Is there a second?
Second. Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Soto. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, and I don't want to get into
No, I'm sorry.
I don't want to get into a lengthy discussion, but are you confident or feel good about they cover those costs? In other words, for those that choose the option of renting a cart, will cover the monthly cost of this? Because if not, then we need to revisit fees somehow, next month or 2 months down the road.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Hewish, this is an actual item that is part of the subsidy that the City of Douglas provides, which is why we made sure that it did not increase the current subsidy amounts that we're currently giving them, so we couldn't afford to go above the $1,490.45 a month.
Okay, I'll go back to my original question if I could. Is there any data that shows that cart rentals cover this cost?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Hewish, I really cannot say. It's really depends on the day of the month and how much play we're getting. We don't necessarily structure the fees to cover the exact cost of the carts. We structure the fees in a competitive manner, but in a way that hopefully covers all of the expenses in operating the carts, but not specifically for the carts.
Mr. Mayor, again, I don't want to belabor this issue, but I think we need to revisit once again. It's been a while since we revisited this topic, and I know we have some things in the workings, so I would prefer to leave it up to staff on when it might be a good time to bring that back to us. Ms. Lindeman, do you have a question?
Luis, this is 25 carts that were instead of 30, which is fine. That's how it covers. But as Mr. Pedrosa said, this is part of the overall subsidy. So whether we revisit the fees or not, that has nothing to do with what we're discussing right now.
Ms. Mayor, exactly, 100% in agreement. That's why I said in the future sometime that it needs to be looked at. I agree, it doesn't affect this at all because it needs to be done. But if our subsidy can go from 150 to 130 because we cover the car fees, then I think we need to visit.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think what the council can do is make a recommendation to the MPC to really approve this, if you want to approve this, with caveat of saying that, you know, the fees need to be revised, or if you don't choose to approve them, is to really send that message out, and we can forward that message to the MPC to let them know about them looking at their fees.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not advocating that. I think it's something that we need, and I think it's something that we need to approve tonight.
Mr. Soto, quick question. I just want to make sure that, so this is not going to impact the subsidy we already have. It's basically going to be spending the same amount of money that we're doing. We're just reducing the number of cards available. And my next question will be, so then it's up to MPC to change the fees. It's not us, right? So that was something that we need to talk to them about. We recommend you increase the fees. And like Mr. Hughes says, that's something that we don't have to do right now, but most likely that we need to visit later.
That is correct. That is the prime indicator that, you know, cost of doing business is going up, because obviously we're reducing the fleet and we're paying more for it.
Right.
But obviously the indicators that, you know, it costs more.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw.
Okay, my concern is that I know they have a lot of tournaments out there, and all the carts are being used, all 30. And it might happen 6 or 7 times a year. So, did they give you any price on 30 of them, or do you think they would go for another 1 or 2 at almost the same price?
Yeah, we did. It wasn't a price change if it went to 30, so it would increase our overall cost.
It would?
Yeah, the recommendation came from the MPC themselves. They were okay with reducing their fleet size.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, they say that, like you mentioned, it's only a few times out of the year where they're actually using the entire 30 carts, and for the most part of the year, 5 carts or even more are just sitting there, not getting fully utilized. And they say that they can manage through borrowing some of the users' cards if needed.
Mr. Mayor, I think Mr. Gonzalez he's been talking about a burro concession out there, and he could get his burros out there and be able to take care of any excess that's needed. So that's provide fertilizer. So we're.
You want me to sell a cow? Is that what you're saying?
So we're any other comments? No. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 19, discussion decision. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. On approval of resolution number 19-1339, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the City of Douglas to accept grant funding and enter into a sub-grantee agreement with the State of Arizona Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursable grant full fund allocation in the amount of $692,000 for personal overtime costs and mileage costs under Operation Stone Guard fiscal year 2018 allocation grant program. Mr. Chief Bullitt, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As you stated, this is the allocation funding for federal fiscal year 2018. The grant was for personnel overtime and mileage. Overtime in the amount of $650,000, mileage in the amount of $42,000 for a total award of $692,000. As you are aware, this is a multi-year award that we've had the fortune of receiving for a number of years now. And it began with the initiative of Mark Wilkinson years and years ago. So we've had well over probably a couple $1 million in grant funding through this program, and it's helped us tremendously. So I hope that you will approve that.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, move that the Mayor and Council approve resolution number 19-1339.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say really quick, Mayor, thank you for all that you do. This is the least we can do. I think we're all very appreciative of what you and your staff do. I just wanted to say that. Thank you for sticking here. We're with us throughout this long. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 20, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1340, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the City of Douglas to accept grant funding and enter into a sub-grantee agreement with the State of Arizona Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursable grant fund allocation in the amount of $136,000 for the purchase of equipment to include the 2 full-size 4x4 police package trucks under Operation Stone Guard fiscal year 2018 allocation grant program. Mr. Fuller, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is essentially a 2-part grant, and in this grant here we got an allocation for equipment purchase, and we were awarded, as you stated, enough funding to purchase 2 full-size 4x4 police package trucks. The idea being that they are restricted to use during the Operation Stone Guarding, which is fine because we only have 2 officers on at one time throughout the day. And this will actually save us some wear and tear and mileage on the rest of our fleet in support of this mission. So, again, I would ask that you guys approve it.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, move that the the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1340.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Chief. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 21, discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 19-1103, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, to undertake a minor departmental reorganization affecting the Public Works Department and city management, and amending ordinance number 631, ordinance number 673, ordinance number 728, ordinance number 848, ordinance number 04-871, ordinance number 09-954, ordinance number 13-1027. My throat is hurting. Excuse me. And ordinance number 18-1086, establishing severability components and establishing an effective date thereof. It says here, Mr. Sorry, Mrs. Pedrosa. I apologize.
Mayor, members of the council, due to recent and foreseeable changes in the operations of the city and projections of economic growth and development, we are in need of creating a few job descriptions, few positions, and changes to current job descriptions. The addendum memo outlines what those changes are. The first one would be an addition of a planner position. Ms. Watson already explained the need for that. When we don't have the IGA, then we have a person in-house, we won't use the IGA anymore. And that would be at a range 26 for that position. And again, all of these positions would be funded or would be made available if funding, become available in the budget that comes for this fiscal year. The second position is the grant coordinator, which is also at a range 26. And this position would be tasked with researching various federal, state, county, local, and other grant funding opportunities that we might have. The third position that we're adding is the wastewater lab or wastewater plant operator lab technician. And this is due to the fact with the expansion of the wastewater plant, we have some requirements from ADEQ. And the lab at the wastewater recently became certified, but we need someone to be there technically most of the day with those duties. So this creation of this position would allow for that. This position would be at a range 18, and it has a lot of the technical components that are needed to run that lab. And because of that new position, we do want to make a change to a current job description that we have for wastewater plant operator. And it's just to add in there that they'll be serving as backup when needed for this lab technician, because we don't want to make sure that we always have coverage for that as well. There's no change on the range for this one, it's just adding that component as backup. And the final position that we'd be changing is the environmental specialist. Right now it's a limited status position at a range 17. We are recommending for this position to become permanent, and also because of additional programs that position is handling, to make that a change in the range from range 17 to range 20, but also make that from non-exempt to exempt when it comes to overtime purposes. So at the end of it, it kind of balances off. We just wanted to make sure that was addressed. So some of the additional programs that position is handling is the wastewater lab certification with the assistance, of course, of the utilities division, and the FOG program, which is the fast oil and grease, and also coordinating the cross-departmental development and maintenance of the city's CIP program. So that's very important.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, I move that the mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 19-1103 on its first reading by number and title only.
Second.
You said the first reading? I thought it was...
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, just a point of clarification. There is a typographical correction that needs to be made. It's the first reading for the third. The motion is clearly and correctly stated by Councilmember Hewish.
Thank you, Mr. Hewish. And I move was the second motion by Mr.
Morales Morales.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor. Before we get ahead of ourselves and start creating positions, I would like to know how many police officer positions that we have that go unfunded year after year after year, and how many fire positions that, and the same, we have in the budget, but they go unfunded, so they are not filled.
We currently do not have any positions at the police department that are unfunded. All the positions that are available for the police department are funded.
Are
We
there
have
any-
two vacancies. We
Two
have two
vacancies.
vacancies that we're trying to fill, so that's nothing that's been frozen.
And that's the reason, because we don't have money in the budget to
No.
fill those.
No, for the police department, it's because we're trying to recruit them. We've had testing recently, just no luck in filling those two last vacancies that we have.
So when we find candidates, we have the money to pay them.
Yes.
But it won't be in this year's budget, next year's.
For the police department, if we were to find the candidates right now, we would fill them.
No, but these positions.
Oh, this position, yes, this would be for the next year. In the fire department, we do have some frozen positions. They were created though for the in-facilities program. We do have about 4 positions actually frozen at the moment. And that's something that the fire chief was in agreement with in order to be able to fill the deputy fire position that he has.
And that was for this year, and what about next year then?
For next year, we don't know yet. It just depends on how the budget conversations go.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Steve, if I may, I'm sure I know the answer to this, but thought everybody should know. The ranges that these positions were placed in were done how?
We do a market between the cities that we compare ourselves to. So we take a look into, even if there's no positions within the similar cities that we have, we look at other cities in the state and do a reduction as well to make sure that we're not overdoing it or underdoing it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hirsch?
Move that the mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 19-1103 and to place it on its second reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
Ordinance of Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, to undertake a minor departmental reorganization affecting the Public Works Department and City Management and amending ordinance number 631, ordinance number 673, ordinance number 728, ordinance number 848, ordinance number 04-871, ordinance number 09-954, ordinance number 13-1027, and ordinance number 18-1086, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 22, discussion decision on approval of first reading of ordinance number 19-1104, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending Title II of the City of Douglas Municipal Code relating to the city council by amending section 202-010, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mrs. Aguilar? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the item comes before you at the request of Mayor Uribe and council members Ray Shelton and Jose Grijalva, and is for consideration of an amendment to Douglas Municipal Code, Title II, specifically Section 2.02.010, and this is concerning meetings, time, place, and forum. The purpose is to discuss the logistics of how meetings are conducted. Currently, meetings are held on the second Wednesday of the month. However, there is interest in discussing a change for the meetings to be held on the second Tuesday of the month instead of Wednesday for those council members that have a periodic or a standing conflict. A second item for discussion is to consider adding a second meeting date during the fourth week of the month. If you remember, this recommendation was made by Terry Ellis, retired city manager of Peoria, and this was
recommended during the council retreat that took place actually on February 28th of this year at the Government Center. The suggestion was due to the volume of business being handled during the monthly meeting, and with the existing activities of a border city that is a port of entry handling binational commerce, the development coming related to the expansion of the port of entry, our municipal government will grow, and the work and delivery of service will increase. Information provided by the Arizona League of Cities and Towns reflects that the city of Douglas and city of Nogales are the only two cities with population about 6,000 that are currently only holding one meeting a month. Lastly, it is common that city council that meets twice a month or more frequently take a legislative recess in the summer. Consideration may be given to recess after the July meeting for a period of 4 to 6 weeks. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this item is now before you for discussion and consideration.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, for discussion purposes, I move that Mayor and Council approve the placement of ordinance number 19-1104 on its first reading by number and title only.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Shelton. Open for discussion. Mr. Shelton?
Okay, I'll agree with the Tuesday, but right now having a meeting, a scheduled meeting, twice a month, I don't know about that. Because we've always had, if there's special things that come up, we always pick a special day and we'll have them on that day. Could be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever, Monday. So, I'll agree with the first one. The second one, I don't think just to have a meeting, we should schedule it. That's my thought.
Mayor, if I may say, to Mr. Shelton's point, if there's nothing, that's not of importance, we can always cancel that meeting, right? And just skip maybe the second meeting and just meet the previous month.
So are you suggesting that are you in favor of 2 meetings, and if there is not enough business that we can actually cancel the second meeting?
Yeah, can we do, is that a possibility with this passing?
Sure, by state law, you're only required to have one, so absolutely you could do that, and some cities that are smaller sometimes do that in a kind of abbreviated way, but yes, you could.
And, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the ordinance does say an as-needed basis, on an as-needed basis. So if we don't need the second meeting, we don't have to have it. I think this month we would have probably needed a second.
For sure. That's an understatement.
May I just a comment?
Yes.
And I know it's a personal issue, but and I do like to move it, and the same thing with the second meeting if needed. But for me, my board meetings are on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month. Then sometimes we need to move them, and they're typically the second Tuesday of the month. But again, they're not that usual when that happens. So just make that happen. Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'm not in favor of moving this or doing anything in this because the ramifications of moving a council meeting and changing the charter or something for future generations, I'm not in favor of that. But you realize that if you move one, then everybody else in the town has to be adjusted. And their time is at an essence. And everybody after all these years has their specific time, and that's when they keep it. Now, I do want to say though that if a council person has a standing commitment that can't attend meetings, they shouldn't run for council.
Okay. Any other, Mr. Morales?
No, I'm not in favor of it either. I have meetings also, and sometimes it's very difficult for me to attend, so.
Not in favor of the changing the time or the 2 meetings?
The 2 meetings.
The 2 meetings. Okay, Mr. Hewish?
At the risk of sounding like an old fuddy-duddy that doesn't like to change anything, what Councilman Lindeman has a lot of merit, that this is what's been established, this is what's been for years, and not that it can't work for the better, but I don't unless some council members want to share more reasoning, I don't see why we would change either one. I think that I appreciate the second meeting, the need for it, and we have had to call extra meetings. I think all the council members need to keep that in mind. If this does not pass, that we very well may have 2 meetings a month regardless of whether it's written down in ordinance form or not.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, just along the same lines of the comments made by Councilmember Hewish, that is correct. If extra meetings are needed during the month, special meetings will certainly be scheduled at any time, not necessarily at a scheduled date, to hold it at the same date and time if the ordinance would require a more permanent basis. So it's essentially a council position, and we can certainly make any modifications as we wish, but we can certainly just leave the council meetings as they are set.
Okay. I think this is a good point. Mr. Shelton was interested to hearing council discuss whether or not it would be beneficial for us to have 2 council meetings, or, for us to change the date. Now, I do have a question, Ms. Watson. How many cities are we, you said Nogales and Douglas are the only cities in the state of Arizona with just one?
Above 6,000 population.
Above 6,000 population.
It doesn't have.
Obviously today is a very intense agenda. Do you anticipate us having these kind of agendas as certain projects are moving so rapidly? We want hands-on with some of the things that we've discussed today, and I do feel that 2 council meetings wouldn't be a bad idea. And I just want to, from your previous experience, what are some of the pros and cons of having 2 council meetings?
Every city I've worked in has always had 2, so the community and the staff and the councils all knew that when they ran and when they served. So it's just a matter of being manageable. Like the city of Phoenix, just to give you an example, when I worked there, they start in the afternoon, and they have a policy session, which is the same as a work session, for about an hour to an hour and a half before the formal meeting that began at 3:30, I believe, or 3. And so it would go into the evening, but that was so people both ways, the working community as well as the non, could be there at least for parts of the meeting, because they had like 200 and 300 items on agendas regularly. And they had big consent agendas too, but it's a big city. So that's just to give you one snapshot. I don't know that there's a better way or a wrong or right way. It's just a matter of what your feelings are as a group. And yes, this is our new agenda calendar. Hopefully you all have seen this. You'll be able to determine as you see items, like we had quite a few, as you can see, that were scheduled for today. But this is kind of the projection, so you know this is your work plan basically in a nutshell. So you all can see what's coming ahead, and probably will be able to recognize if we have another date like this, we'll probably talk and ask you if we can't do 2 council meetings rather than have 1, unless you just want a really long evening.
Do you anticipate us having heavy agendas? I have the new itinerary. It's pretty intense, and I just see that there's a lot of action happening within our municipality.
May I answer that question? Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as Mrs. Watson just noted, the working calendar is populated for several months now. I believe a portion of July already has some of the items. So it depends on the business that we currently have outstanding. This meeting today was certainly very, very busy. We did have a lot pending that needed to be addressed tonight and couldn't certainly be divided in more than one section, obviously, to address at another date. So certainly at this point, based on the working calendar, the next couple of months may be busy, potentially not as busy as this month, but certainly it'll give you an idea, and Mrs. Watson will be providing you with a copy of an updated working calendar, I believe on a weekly basis, when she provides you with her weekly report.
Mr. Hadley?
Well, I was just going to say something, maybe just a suggestion. Like today we had let's not count the adjournment, 25. I mean, can we unofficially just say, hey, if we have, you know, more than 15, we just put the, you know, the quote-unquote important, you know, the important things on the regular meeting, and then have a special meeting for the other agenda items that aren't too important, like a golf cart, you know, maybe we could have met, you know, for a special meeting, knowing, you know, the situation that we're in. Just a suggestion if we could do something like that.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Grijalva, we have a monthly agenda meeting scheduled between the interim city manager, Mayor Uribe, the city attorney. Council members are invited as well. To date, we've had Councilmember Soto as well as Councilmember Grijalva attend one of our meetings, and certainly that can be a topic of conversation during those meetings. And certainly, if you find it to be more acceptable to reduce the number of items that should be considered during a regular meeting, we can certainly have that discussion, we can make that determination, and we can schedule a special meeting at your request or that of the interim city manager, Ms. Fox.
To be still sounds like another meeting.
Would we want to table this and
Call for the question.
think about it?
Call for the question.
I have a couple
Mr. Mayor,
questions.
as parliamentary procedure, when there's a call, the question, discussion ends, and so then you're forced to call for roll call at this point.
Okay. I do, Mr. Hewish had a question, so I just have a couple of thoughts. How would this affect our adoption of ordinances? I know we have to wait a month. Will we have to wait? Can we wait 2 weeks now? Or how would that be affected? Or is it still governed by the charter?
It is governed by the charter, but you have to have 2 out of the 3 readings in regular meetings. So if you come up with a second regular meeting now, you can pass ordinance that much faster.
And Mr. Mayor, Councilman Hewish, I'd like to point out that if you have to wait 30 days for the ordinance to become effective after a third reading, the only time that there's an exception is if there's an emergency clause attached to it.
So that would accelerate ordinance adoption.
Mr. Attorney, I know there's a call for the question.
Okay. Roll call?
Ward 1?
No.
Ward 2?
No.
Ward 3?
No.
Ward 4?
No.
Ward 5?
No.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
No. Motion fails.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council.
Item number 23, discussion decision on approval of first reading of ordinance number 19-1105, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, modifying Title 10 of the Douglas Municipal Code relating to vehicles and traffic by amending ordinance 482, 806-07-908, and 18-1093 pertaining to penalties to civil traffic violations, vehicle impound fees, and commercial vehicle parking under Chapter 0116, 1018, 1028, 1032, and 1044, respectively, establishing severability of concordance of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Chief Foley.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is essentially a housekeeping item as it pertains to our Douglas Municipal Code. This was actually a team effort with Mr. Pedrosa, Mr. Flores, and myself. And I do apologize for the number of changes that were brought forth to you at one time, but in the sake of efficiency, this is how it was done. If you recall, in September of 2018, we presented an item to you, similar circumstances, looking to correct the amounts that we had for our fines under the city ordinance. That was to account for statutory assessments that were implemented in 2011 and 2015. In January 1st of this year, additional assessments were levied, and that includes $9 for victims' rights enforcement and $4 for peace officer training equipment. In addition, Mr. Pedrosa identified concerns with changes to the state surcharge which went from 73% plus 10% for clean elections to 68% plus 10% for clean elections, which called for increases to the fines overall to realize the same revenue as before rather than the law. Section 10.18040, the violation for a penalty for disabled parking, required an amendment to comply with the fine amounts that are in a different section under 10.40030. Section 10.28, vehicle impound fees, required amendments based on revisions to the Arizona Revised Statute 283511, which became effective also on January 1st, 2019. As noted, violations that were previously classified as criminal traffic, were reclassified as civil and no longer subject to mandatory impoundment provisions in the statute or in our own municipal code. Section 10.32, commercial motor vehicle routes, is amended to add a prohibition on parking commercial vehicles, semi-trailers, or combinations thereof within residential areas, inclusive of residential property. This actually is a new amendment that stemmed from a need that was identified on some of the complaints that we are receiving throughout the city. And with the expansion of the port of entry, hopefully we'll have additional truck traffic in our city, and the idea is to get ahead of that as well. Section 10.40020, enforcement is amended to replace the municipal court with the consolidated court. Section 10.40030, violations. Again, penalties required a similar update to the fine in section 10.16.140 to account for the additional assessments that went into effect January 1st. Lastly, section 10.44070, civil citation is amended to replace municipal court with consolidated court.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, move that the mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 19-1105 on its first reading by number and title only.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Any discussion? Roll call. Thank you, Chief.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish.
Move that the mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 19-1105 and to place it on second reading by number and title only.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Shelton. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
Ordinance of Mayor and Council of the City of Dallas, Cochise County, Arizona, modifying Title 10 of the Dallas Municipal Code relating to vehicles and traffic by amending Ordinance 482, 806, 07-908, and 18-1093, pertaining to penalties for civil traffic violations, vehicle impound fees, and commercial vehicle parking under Chapter 10.16, 10.18, 10.28, 10.32, and 10.44, respectively, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Item number 24, discussion decision on approval of first reading of ordinance number 19-1106, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land located at 902 H Avenue to Frank Ortega as members of the Geronimo Educational and Travel Studies International LLC, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability components of ordinance and declaring an emergency. Mr. Vanessa.
Thank you very much, Mayor, Council, City Manager. Francisco Ortega is not here. He's the one, he's very much Mimi. So, he's gonna bring his business that's right now on F2, 902 H Avenue, and build it from the ground up. He wants to do that, and we sold that building to him this past week. I'm gonna ask you if I may bring him back to share a few words with the mayor and council, because he's really happy about what happened. Although this is an emergency, as was mentioned in the meeting we had last time. I want to make sure there was no buyer's remorse. So So I, at this point, ask you to approve this, and so he can move forward with the building.
Thank you, Mr. DC. May I have a motion to approve first reading? Mr. Hewish.
I move that the mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 19-116 on its first reading by number and title only and declaring an emergency.
Is there a second? Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize, I know it's late, but two things. I noticed that the brokerage report was in the tune of $30,000, and we ended up at $27,500. I don't know if any of those things can be shared. And then the second question would be to our city attorney if this type of situation constitutes an emergency. So,
Mr. Flores?
Whoever first or second.
Let's go with the emergency. Call in there.
Well, I think basically, as I've answered before, it's council's role to determine what's important and what's not. At this time, I can tell you that Mr. Carranza was very brief in his presentation, but this matter has been pending, this gentleman has been pending offers and negotiations for quite some time. And this particular sale promises potential significant economic growth and bringing of industry and business to the city. So I would urge the council to make its own determination. Additionally, we have early budget talks. It would be nice to have the funds in the coffers by the time we come around to approving the budget. So those are the various considerations you can make here tonight. But please feel free to make your own determination with reference to that and the various components and variables that have made this thing linger for the time that it's been. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just had that other question, Mayor.
Oh, yes. I can answer that. In the meeting, I was given a range of 25 to 35 and 7.
Mr. Carranza, the information from that meeting is confidential, if I remember. Let it just...
I just want to know if that's what you went back and forth and you feel comfortable with it. That's all. That's essentially what I want to know.
I believe the offer conforms to the discussions we had in the executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Flores, for correcting that. Any other comments? Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, I move that the mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 19-1106 and to place it on second reading by number and title only and declaring an emergency.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Roll call.
Ward 1? Yes. Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
In order that the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land located at 902 H Avenue to Frank Ortega as a member of Geronimo Educational Travel Studies International LLC pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, I move that the mayor and council approve the second reading of ordinance number 19-1106 and to place it on third reading by number and title only and declaring an emergency.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
In order to the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a semi-improved parcel of land located at 902 H Avenue to Frank Ortega as a member of Geronimo Educational Travel Studies International LLC, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, I move that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 19-1106 by number and title only and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Roll call.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of San Luis County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of customary improved parcels and located at 902 H Avenue to Frank Ortega, member of Geronimo Educational Travel Studies International LLC, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and declaring an emergency.
Item number 25, informational items and
Mayor.
reports.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. But I wanted to say something on 24.
Okay. I'll get right there, Ms. Lindeman. From council and future agenda items requests, Ms. Lindeman. Floor is
Yeah, thank you, sorry about that. When you build the agendas, or whoever's building the agendas, I think it's more efficient, and it's been past practices, to put all the ordinances at the beginning of the agenda and the resolutions at the end. That would be my suggestion.
Thank you.
Done that in the past. I don't know why it got changed, but let's go back to that.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say, and I don't want to take anybody more of their time, but I want to thank Councilman Hewish, because, I mean, a lot of us up here can take the title of Mayor Pro Tem, but he was ready the last 2 times. He carried it on professionally. We didn't miss a beat. I also wanted to bring up, there's not a lot of people here, but hopefully the ones that stayed. Blueberry Cafe is asking for donations for free art classes. They're asking for paintbrushes, for crayons, for papers, anything that they can get. They're going to teach the youth free art classes. And I also wanted to bring up the suggestion of the possibility of next month's meeting being changed to another day, because that's when the state of the district is going to be, where I'd like us to attend, represent the city. I know a few council members will be there, so maybe that's a suggestion that I would like to bring.
Mr. Mayor, I have a few pages I'd like to read.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
I do have to praise some 2 city employees that have done a great job. Rene Molina, Rene Dios, they were instrumental in helping a business owner, Mia Montaño, and her father, Raul Montaño, open the Kia Behavioral Health Center. So they deserve a round of applause, even though. And I also want to say thank you to the council members for being troopers, and I really appreciate your all leadership. So thank you all for sticking through. Yes, item number 26, adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Motion by Councilmember Morales, second by Councilmember Sheldon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Carry.